It could be said what appeared to the Coors faithful on Wednesday afternoon was pure baseball magic, bordering on the supernatural. With a wave of their collective wands and a touch of Loto mojo, the Rockies conjured up an amazing 9-run comeback. Base hit. Rockies take the lead. Wow. Tonight, the Rockies look to staff magician Ubaldo Jimenez to use a little sleight of hand versus the Dodgers and prove they're more than an illusion in the NL West. With a little something up their sleeves, the Rockies may be on their way to pulling yet another rabbit out of the hat as the season's final month approaches. Is there more Loto magic in the cards? Find out next. Well, we know this much. There was a whole lot of magic on Wednesday afternoon, and those folks are dining a little bit and getting ready to come on over and watch the Rockies and the Los Angeles Dodgers. First game of 3 here in lower downtown Denver. The Rockies at 66 and 60. Let's check the NL West. The Rockies well back there, but in the wild card, they're now just 4 back. Philadelphia has fallen behind San Francisco. They're in a tailspin right now. So the Rockies chasing the Giants, and they're the Dodgers. They've won 3 straight. They're just 5 back in the wild card race. And good evening. Goodman, I know it is just August still for a few more days, but it's starting to be a whole lot of fun. And you want to talk about fun? What a pitching matchup tonight to kick off this series. Clayton Kershaw, the great left-hander, the great young left-hander for the Dodgers against Ubaldo Jimenez.
Well, you look for this matchup anytime you watch these two clubs get together. You hope these two match up against each other. And what Kershaw has done against the Rockies has been phenomenal. 3-0, 0.90 earned run average. You look at what Ubaldo has done at home at Coors Field this year. 8-0. He has been very good. And you go all the way back to look at when Kershaw hooked up against the Rockies before. You see the fastball, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts in that ball game against the Rockies. Command of his fastball. A liberal strike zone by an umpire helped out a little bit that night, but obviously he can do that with his fastball, overpowering fastball. And how about Jimenez? 8 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and 5 strikeouts. These are the type of ball games that you look for. This is Gibson Koufax. This is to go back in ages to see guys that go head-to-head like this in a ball game. This is what you like.
Absolutely, unless you're a hitter. Then you don't like it very much. The one thing about Clayton Kershaw, we have to point out, he has dominated the Rockies without question in L.A. Here in Denver, he has an ERA over 6. Hopefully that plays out again. When we come back, we'll talk about a couple of roster moves that took place earlier today. Franklin Morales back in the fold. Colorado this year 3-6 against the LA Dodgers. It has been a while since they've taken a series against them. They'll try to turn that around this weekend. Well, the Rockies made a couple of moves earlier today. They were forced to because of some injuries. Manuel Corpus has been placed on the disabled list. He has soreness in his elbow. We'll get further word on his condition over the next few days. Clint Barmas is on the bereavement list. He has somebody in his family that he's tending to. And so up for the Rockies, Franklin Morales again. He has 3 saves from earlier this year, battling control issues. And when he appears, he'll make his major league debut. Samuel Deduno, who has very good stuff. For more on these roster moves and the revamped bullpen and how it'll play out late, we check in field level with Jeff Houston. Huey?
Well, it is going to be a little bit different with those guys that are out, as you mentioned, Drew. And you look at Franklin Morales back for the second time. Down in Colorado Springs now, he had a strikeout-to-walk ratio, which was almost 2-to-1. So good for him because it's all about battling control for him. And Deduno making his major league debut, it's going to be a situation, if they need him, more than likely it's going to be in a long relief type of role. From the left side now, think about Matt Reynolds. Threw a lot of pitches the other day talking to Jim Tracy before the ball game today. He is not going to be available. I just spoke with Rafael Betancourt not 2 minutes ago before we came on the air. Said he threw, he's feeling better. Tomorrow he'll throw a bullpen and hopefully he'll be ready to go tomorrow. But the key is, tonight you've got Ubaldo Jimenez, so maybe you won't need any of those guys out in the bullpen.
The way I'm sure Jim Tracy would like to see it work, and also Ubaldo would like to see it work that way. What a matchup. Ubaldo Jimenez, Clayton Kershaw, Rockies and Dodgers. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Colorado Rockies baseball on FSN is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By E470. Use E470 and you'll get to the airport with time to spare. And by the Ford Fusion. It's the 2010 Motor Trend Car of the Year, Ford Fusion. Drive one. Yesterday, a day off for the Rockies. Scott Podsednik of the Dodgers getting ready. He's made the transition back to the National League look mighty smooth. Hit over 300 in a Royals uniform this year, and he's hit over 300 so far in a Dodgers uniform. Dodgers coming off a 3-game sweep of Milwaukee. Here's the rest of Joe Torre's lineup tonight. Well, we'll check it in a moment. We'll tell you the first pitch, as always, is brought to you by Domino's. Text keyword pizza followed by a space and your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 12. One weekly winner will be chosen. So here we go, first pitch of the night, and Ubaldo has it right down the middle at 91. Scott Podsednik behind 0-1. The Rockies are at least 500 or better against every team in the division other than LA. And that has been an ongoing trend, George, since the Rockies arrived in 1993. It
hasn't changed a lick. And that's one thing the Dodgers have been able to do, has been able to handle the Rockies both home and road.
Breaking ball, dropped in there for a strike. It's 1-2. Miguel Olivo tonight catching Jimenez. He has caught him virtually every start. Chris Ionnet has caught him a couple of times. Here's the 1-2, and that was a hard slider down on the back foot, and Podsednik just got a piece. Here's Joe Torre's lineup, presented by Southwest Airlines. Ryan Theriot will be in the 2-hole. Then Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, James Loney, Casey Blake, Jamie Carroll is playing every day at shortstop with Furcal still down. Rod Barajas recently came from the Mets, and then Kershaw. You notice no Manny Ramirez tonight. And the curveball misses. Interesting, Jeff Houston, of the first 4 pitches, you've already seen 3 breaking balls.
Yeah.
Or first 5 pitches.
Yeah, Ubaldo does that every once in a while in that first inning and then switch it up later on the game with fastballs.
And that was a changeup. So 4 of the first 6 pitches, George, off-speed deliveries.
Well, maybe a little more comfortable being able to set the tone this way, reserve a little gas for later in the ball game. When you face teams very quickly like he has, with a break in between, I think that's where you want to make sure you set your stage, like Kershaw tonight. May not use his fastball as much early. Maybe she'll break the ball or vice versa.
There was the good fastball at 98. Not that the 91 is a bad fastball, but
we saw that in his start the other day, though. Started out low with the mile per hour and then just kept ramping it up.
Strike 3? No, guess not. 3-2 on Podsednik. Very close. Fielded Colbreth. He's the home plate umpire this night.
Well, look on the 4th strike zone to see where this pitch was. In the eyes, it was a little bit away. Base hit up the middle.
That's Podsednik with a leadoff single. It's a good at bat from Scott Podsednik. Saw a lot of pitches, and then the result he was looking for.
9-pitch at bat. It's a big at bat. What you're looking for out of a leadoff man. Let's look at the scouting report. Who has hurt him? Who has not hurt him? And I think this is something that you're a little bit surprised. Matt Kemp, a right-handed bat, 375 on the season against Ubaldo, a home run, a couple of RBIs. Loney has the most RBIs, 5 in his career against Mr. Jimenez in their career.
Ryan Theriot at the plate. Obviously, Podsednik is a base stealer. He's got 30 bags this year. Has been caught a dozen times. 1-0 on Theriot.
That was a great pick from Miguel, because that ball didn't have that short hop or in between. I mean, he really had to go kind of stab at it a little bit.
Those are hard pitches to handle if you're a catcher. Fastball, especially as hard as Ubaldo throws.
Well, when you know you have a base stealer out at first as well.
Yeah. And that's inside, so it's 2-0 on Theriot. A .324 lifetime hitter against the Rockies. The Dodgers are 20-7 in their last 27 against Colorado. That goes back to the beginning of the 09 season, and they've won 9 of 12 here at Coors Field. So it hasn't just been an LA thing. Ground ball should be 2. .463 on that turn. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense for the Rockies. In the outfield, Cargo is in left, Dexter in center, and Ryan Spilborgh's in right. Melvin Mora against the left-hander gets the start for Stewart at third. Tulowitzki and EY up the middle. Helton at first, and Miguel Olivo doing the catching. That'll bring up Andre Ethier, who didn't get to play a full 9 innings yesterday against Milwaukee. He got tossed out by Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire, for arguing balls and strikes. He didn't get thrown out when he got punched out. It was a few minutes later. He was still yelling from the dugout while James Loney was at the plate. He just missed 1-1. It was the first career ejection for Ethier. Boy, that's a good pitch, George. How much you're going to do with that?
Well, that's the nice part about it, with the velocity behind it, too, and the location of the pitch, regardless of how quick your hands are. Makes it pretty difficult for you to do anything with this pitch. On the Hyundai Cam, you can see the location, a lot of movement on the inner half of the plate mixed with the velocity.
It was a 92-mile-an-hour slide. He went back in there again.
Ethier, a guy that likes to extend his arm, so with the slider, it turns in more of a cutter for Ubaldo when he stays up on top of it, trying to saw the hands off.
Two-two. Shatters his bat, and this is going to drop for a hit. Gonzalez trying to hold it to a single, won't be able to. That was closer than I thought, though, I'll tell you that. Great throw by Gonzalez. Good sweep tag by Eric Young. I didn't think there was a way in the world that was going to be much of a play. So close that Jim Tracy's going to come out and argue with Gary Cedarstrom.
Well, because you got a runner in scoring position and a couple of outs, and you got Matt Kent coming up to the plate. That's a guy that could hurt you. When this ball left out of here, I think two things happened. Gonzalez, obviously a terrific arm. The other was, Ethier, I don't think, thought they'd have a play on him, so he went really wide.
He may have been out.
It looked like he tagged him up on the forearm. See if the hand got down to the bag before EY applied the tag.
He's out. So Matt Kemp, with the 375 lifetime average against Ubaldo Jimenez, will come up.
Ethier looking at Tulo going, you know what, the guy's got a pretty good arm in left. I'm going to turn it up next time something happens, goes into the gap or gets somewhere else.
Slider for a strike. You know, Jeff, you always checked outfielders' arms. However, there's a stigma, I think, with left fielders that, well, they have the shortest arm out there. That obviously is not the case with Carlos.
No, and that's what sometimes you forget about that, quite honestly, as a base runner. Because you're thinking left field. I know Carlos is over there, but when you're running running the bases and make that cut, you're like, oh, I got this. And then about halfway there, you're like, uh-oh, he's out there. That's right. I better go quicker.
Here's the 1-1 to Kemp, and it's fouled off. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Fielding percentage in the National League. There are 4 that play regularly that have yet to make an error, including Dexter Fowler, and Carlos has made just 1. 1-2 on Kemp. This is Ubaldo's 4th attempt at his 18th win. And it's not like he hasn't pitched well in his last 3. There's an ERA of 3. And this kicks away. And moving to third is Ethier. That's how he gave up the first run in his last start in Arizona on a wild pitch.
See the hard bite. It's so far out front, there's not a whole lot that Olivo can do. You can see him kind of spread his arms out, spread the body out, and hope it hits the body part to keep it out front. Fortunately, just ricocheted over into the batter's box of the Rockies.
This will be the 23rd pitch of the first inning.
Well, last year, only 8 wild pitches from Ubaldo. You'll get a punch out and end it.
So a little more work than he bargained for in that first inning, but no harm. will be right behind him, Dexter Fowler. Take a look at the rest of Jim Tracy's lineup. Cargo will be in the 3-hole to Tulowitzki. Melvin Mora against the left-hander will bat 5th, and Todd Helton, who's really swinging the bat well. 3/17 since coming off the shelf and 60 at-bats. Spilborghs will bat 7th. Miguel Olivo 8th. And the pitcher, Mr. Jimenez 9th. Clayton Kershaw. You're going to see a lot of fastballs, George.
Yeah, you are. And they're going to be between 92 to 96 miles an hour. Dexter Fowler, a lot of success against Mr. Kershaw, along with Eric Young. Not a lot of history, 3 for 8, though. So you see Ryan Spilborghs with a couple of home runs. So feast or famine for him.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that have swung at the best, as you were talking about, George, against Kershaw, the 2 guys hitting at the top of the lineup. And the fastball's high. Kershaw has been much, much better against the Rockies on the road. I mean, he has a 26-inning scoreless stretch at Dodger Stadium against Colorado. That speaks for itself.
3-2 at home here against the Rockies in this ballpark, but an earned run average above 6. Out on the road, he struggles. 4-4 record. Really struggled. 298 earned run average. Not much struggles there. They just don't score runs for him.
You know what? Like a lot of young pitchers, George, who throw hard. He's 3-0 on young, just like Ubaldo, and it's still what teams try to do. You got to be patient with Kershaw because he'll walk people.
He will walk some people, and then he has the ability to strike out. He's got the second most strikeouts in the National League with 174 behind Holliday's 186. So I mean, he is that type of pitcher, but he will throw some walks out. 72, that is third in the National League. Sanchez leads it with 75.
And this is looped to right. Ethier's over there. He's got it. Here are the Dodgers defensively. One of the things that played into the absence of Manny Ramirez, at least initially, is defense here at Coors Field. But Sednick, Kemp, and Ethier. Blake, along with Jamie Carroll, Ryan Theriot, and James Loney in the infield, with Rod Barajas doing the catching.
Well, nearly acquired Rod Barajas behind the plate. He should know a little bit of the Rockies from the days with the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's been a nice little addition for them. He's gotten a home run and 3 RBIs since joining the Dodgers. And with Martin down, you know, they really had to do something. Brian Osmus can't catch every day.
One ball and 1 strike. Barajas is a Southern California native. Bottom of the first inning, no score. And a ground ball to short. And Jamie Carroll threw it low. James Loney picked it up. 2 outs.
Now look at the run support for these 2 guys. Not a whole lot going on.
Well, actually, for Jimenez, he's got, for the most part, great run support.
More at home. That's where he's averaged almost 8+ at home in run support.
Yeah, lately, you're right, George. That has not been the case. See how it plays out tonight. That's Jack in the box, outside the box. 2 outs. Carlos Gonzalez at the plate. What an enormous hit Cargo had late Wednesday afternoon to tie up the ball game. Bases loaded, facing Johnny Venters. Turned a 97-mile-an-hour fastball into a line drive up the middle.
Hit it right on the screws, too. Second time he'd gotten a hit off Venters. He's got one the day before.
And good idea.
Yeah, very good idea. Left-handers have only hit a .181 against Kershaw. But in the eyes of the Dodgers, okay, you want to lay a bunt down? I'd rather you get one than a double or maybe even a soft trot around the bases.
Kershaw typically has worked Gonzalez away. It's in there for a strike. And he's worked him primarily with the fastball. And that one was in there on the hardest pitches he's thrown here early tonight at 94, Hugh.
Well, and he's going to the same book that he's gone to with Carlos all the time. Carlos has 1 for 7 so far in his career. We saw it last time out in L.A. when Carlos had an opportunity to drive a run in with the runner at third base, and Clayton overpowered him. You just don't see that very often as far as what he's able to do against Carlos Gonzalez.
1-2. Fastball again, and he strikes him out. A 1-2-3 start for Clayton Kershaw. We'll go to the second inning. No score, 20th at Blake. Inning. 277 average for Loney. 8 home runs. He's driven in 74. Talking to Joe Torre about Loney before the ball game. Says this kid really works his tail off and getting better. Been a pretty clutch hitter so far in his young career.
Well, I think also he started to listen to Don Mattingly defensively at first base. Mattingly, the hitting coach, and pretty good first baseman in his own right.
One out. Eric Young throws out Loney. It'll bring up Casey Blake. It'll also take us to our Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game tonight. Text your answers as always to 95323. Do you think Steven Strasburg was rushed into the big leagues? And this question has become in vogue today because Strasburg, if you did not hear, looks like he is facing Tommy John surgery, and in all likelihood we will not see him on a big league mound until 2012. Text rocks 1 for yes, rocks 2 for no. Get a $15 oil change at Breaks Plus this month. George, personally, I don't think he was rushed. He was dominating the minor leagues. What else did he have to prove?
Well, it's not so much of what he dominated there. And when I say rushed, they really maintained his innings pitched in the minor leagues. He didn't go out and throw 7 innings every start. He didn't go out and throw 9 innings. And if you're going to break down, you're going to break down. John Smoltz had a very smooth, very good arm action, broke down twice. You know, Mark Pryor was supposedly had one of the best deliveries, purest deliveries in all of baseball. Shoulder breaks down 2 different times. Career's over. Whiskey ought to be able to handle this play. So, I mean, when he came up, if he was going to break, he was going to break, and he ended up breaking. And regardless of the 123 innings thrown, I thought they handled his situation perfectly.
You know what? I couldn't agree more. I mean, they were very cautious. People were clamoring, hey, he's doing so well in the minor leagues. He's throwing a no-hitter or near no-hitter every time out. Why is he down there? To your point, George, listen, if it was going to go, it was going to go. And to even bring it up, I think, is the ultimate in Monday morning quarterbacking the thing.
Well, I think it's very difficult. It's hard for a guy to sit back, whether you've been in baseball, not in baseball. And Rob Dibble obviously voiced his opinion. It cost him a 3-day vacation. But and he does the broadcast, folks, for the ball club in Washington. A soft lineup for Carroll in the left field. My point is that if an arm breaks down, there's a reason you drafted that arm. Because it threw 99, but you thought it worked pretty good. You gave the kid $15 million. You thought everything worked good. If it didn't, you would have tried to make those changes to prevent injuries. There's some guys, look at the late Joe Kennedy. Threw 14 feet across his body. He threw his shoulder in every possible way to get hurt, never got hurt when he pitched the whole time. And there's different guys. You look at a delivery and you go, wow, he's going to get hurt. And then they never get hurt. Tim Lincecum was going to break down 2 years ago, too, and that's 2 Cy Young Awards later.
And you just say it happens?
It happens. I'll throw this out. There were a lot of people that believed knock on wood collectively, everybody, that Ubaldo Jimenez, because all the moving parts and he stabs on the backside, that he was looking at an injury at some point. He had a shoulder issue way back in the minor leagues. When he was young. But this guy has not missed a big league start ever. Carroll takes off. Here's the throw to second, right on the bag, and the ball's dropped, though. Eric Young had it kicked out, or when he reached down, couldn't squeeze it.
Well, Eli goes in to straddle this bag. Most of the times, Jeff, don't you typically get in front of the bag versus staying behind and trying to straddle?
Yeah, actually, the way he tried to catch it, kind of caught it, never really had it in his glove, and then Jamie Carroll came up and almost like kicked it out. Now, I prefer, where he caught the ball, I prefer to straddle it, and then that way you can adjust, and if the throw is there, you can let the ball carry all the way to the bag and then drop the tag on. He just didn't catch it first.
Well, you wouldn't ordinarily see this from Jim Tracy with the 8-hole hitter in the second inning, because a man's in scoring position and 2 outs. But because it's Clayton Kershaw, you don't want to take any chances. You figure runs are going to come at a premium tonight. So the Rockies will pass on Barajas, and Jimenez will go after Kershaw.
Well, that's 99% of it. The other 1% of it is Barajas is a very good fastball hitter. He's a bad breaking ball hitter, but a good fastball hitter. Why take the gamble or a chance to make a mistake and let him get a base hit and give him a 1-0 lead?
Kershaw, an 0-43 hitter.
You know what? If you're managing the Dodgers right now, Larry Boa should just be holding up one finger. You're going to take till you get a strike. Make him throw strikes. Don't swing the bat. Don't help him.
Here's Larry. Well, George, so much for that theory, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. Go ahead. Swing away, son. It's only 99.
I agree with you. I'm surprised
just like,
by
holy
that.
cow. And it's a down and away sinker at 96 miles an hour.
Yeah, but he's starting to swing when Ubaldo is just breaking his hands just about, because he's trying to load up and jump everything right now.
A ball and a strike on Kershaw with 2 outs. As we always say in these situations, don't slow it down to his bat.
No, there's no reason to. Just make a good hard fastball shot at it. If he hits it, but don't slow it down to 90-91 either. Go ahead and air it out, and that's what he's done twice in a row at 96. I think concerning right now, I think if you're the Rockies, that's 39th pitch thrown in the ball game. 38th pitch for Ubaldo.
Yeah, this looked like it was going to be a quick inning. Then Carroll threw out the soft single and the stolen base. Those 4 of those pitches were lobbed. 2-2, and that was a slider followed up by a breaking ball. I think still sometimes, as great as Ubaldo is, Huey, I think there's too many toys in the toy box.
Yeah, and 98's pretty difficult to hit. So go ahead and try to hit it. 95, 96. See what you can do.
And now you're 3-2 on Kershaw. It's Podsednik on deck. You don't want to see him till next inning. Tough for a guy with an 0-43 batting average.
I was getting ready to say, what did you say this guy's hitting? 0-43?
Yeah, just 2 for 46.
He's taking some pretty good hacks.
And this is in play, and an easy play for Carlos Gonzalez. There's a single and an intentional walk, 2 left on. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Game. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies Taco Special only from Taco Bell. Hope you did it yesterday. After the Rockies' unbelievable 12-10 comeback victory over the Braves, trailing 10-1 in the third inning. Clayton Kershaw has completed his warm-up pitches. The Rockies will begin the second inning with Troy Tulowitzki, then Melvin Mora and Todd Helton. Trying to figure out the conundrum that is the 22-year-old Texan Clayton Kershaw.
I like that word.
Yeah, well, you know, every once in a while.
He goes in a dictionary about 2 o'clock, Jeff, before he heads down.
Okay.
How can I get this word in tonight?
Into the broadcast,
yeah.
yes.
That actually used to be a game that they used to play at FSN early on.
That's a strike on Tulowitzki. Now, so far this year, the Rockies are 19 for 129. 19 for 129 against Kershaw.
Well, realistically,
actually, excuse me, that goes back 6 starts. It goes back to last year.
Well, this tells you something about this year's series. The Dodgers have hit against Rockies pitching 213. The Rockies have hit against their pitching 221. There's been a total of 7 home runs hit between the 2 ball clubs, and a total of 60 RBIs in 9 ball games.
George, the Rockies in their series in LA were outscored 10-3. They were shut out twice. Fortunately, they won a ball game 3-2 at Dodger Stadium. Joe Torre's team, about a week ago, everybody in LA was writing off the Dodgers, but they're just 5 back, a game behind the Rockies in the wild card race. 1-2, 2-2. Manny Ramirez was placed on waivers. He was selected by the Chicago White Sox, and now the Dodgers have till Tuesday to make a decision whether to work out a trade with the White Sox, or they can still pull him back. And I think a lot of it will depend on how they do this weekend here in Denver. I think if they leave here and they feel that they're very much still a viable candidate for the postseason, you may see Manny continue on in a Dodger uniform. The White Sox are chasing the Twins in the Central in the American League.
Well, with them only being 5 games back in the wild card, it makes perfect sense.
You know, Hugh, I believe this. Manny Ramirez can still hit. He cannot be a left fielder, though. This ball on the ground is short.
Well, particularly, I think it depends on what ballpark he's in. He was perfect for Fenway. Short porch, not a lot of room to run around in. Let's look at Kershaw's delivery. This is something that I've been watching now. I watched last week at home. Watch the balance point. Let's freeze and hold right here. Everything's nicely balanced over the top of the rubber. He's square to the rubber. But as he comes to home plate and you let this trickle through slowly, look where his arm goes. Do you ever see the baseball? It comes right out of the glove, stays on the body line on the backside. So the next time you pick that ball up, and it's coming pretty quick, it's coming right out over the top of that shoulder. You couldn't teach it any better than what he does right now.
Sharp ground ball. Blake comes up with it, and he's going to throw out Melvin Mora. You know, Blake may not have a ton of range, Huey, but if you hit it around him, he usually comes up with it.
Well, first step quickness, too. That's all it takes is that one step and a dive. And even though he has to roll around a little bit before he gets up, the ball was hit so hard that he's able to throw Melvin out by 2 steps. And Casey Blake is just that veteran guy. He knows positioning. He might not have that quickness that he once did, but he knows how to position the hitters.
The amazing thing is he has 15 errors this year, but when we've seen him, he's made nothing but stellar plays like the last one. Here's the 1-0 to Helton. And Todd drives this ball to deep left field, but Setnik going back, looking up. Todd Helton, opposite field blast, home run number 5. Rockies up 1-0.
First home run against Kershaw of his career. Tough left-hander trying to go with the fastball and throw it by the old guy, and the old guy won the battle. 25th RBI for Mr. Helton. There it is. Fastball center cut. They supply the power. He supplied the contact and the swing. All Pasednik can do is watch the guy on the front row make the catch.
Second time we've seen Todd go opposite field at Coors Field in the last couple of weeks. He had not done that. This is according to Todd. He may be embellishing a little bit, but probably not a lot. He said, I hadn't hit the ball out to left field in 3 years. He has one now to left center and just now to straightaway left.
You know what's interesting, too, now is Clayton Kershaw has given up 11 home runs, 4 to right-handers, 7 to left-handers.
Another interesting fact about that home run after this pitch to Spilborghs. Helton, prior to that swing against the Dodgers this year, 1 for 29. So he's 2 for 30 now. It's a big 2, though. One and 2 on Spilborghs. He had a big double on Wednesday off the bench, off the plate.
Anxious to see, too, for Kershaw. Last year he threw 171 innings, most there in his career. This year he's at 164 and a third through 26 starts. There's only been 4 starts out of the 26 this year. Then he's thrown less than 100 pitches in a start. Will that take a toll on him as you get into the middle and the latter part of September?
The 11th home run Kershaw's allowed this year. 9th toughest guy among starting pitchers to hit home runs off of in the National League in 2010. Here's the 2-2 on Spilborghs. Talking to Rockies hitters and asking them what makes Kershaw so tough, because he throws that fastball. At least against the Rockies in the last start, he threw it 85% of the time. They say, you know what, it cuts really late, and it's very difficult to pick up. Like that, and that's a fair ball. We got the hands inside, down in the left field corner. Spilborghs to second with a 2-out double.
I mentioned that Spilborghs had a little thunder in the lumber. He hit 2 home runs off Kershaw, and he comes up with a double here in the bottom of the second and 2 outs on the Hyundai cam. His fastball cut, but it cut inside. Spilly able to get the head of the bat out quick enough out in front to drive this ball right by Blake down the left field corner.
And now the Dodgers will do what the Rockies did. They'll put the position player on, Levo, and pitch to Ubaldo Jimenez. Of course, Ubaldo not in the same class as Kershaw when it comes to hitting. Ubaldo's almost 3 times the hitter Kershaw is. He's got a 117 batting average.
3 more RBIs.
That's right. But in all seriousness, Ubaldo will battle you. And Kershaw, to his credit, battled Ubaldo a few minutes ago. So 2 on, 2 outs. Jimenez will come up. We remind you to repair any damage to your windshield by calling Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Great Friday night crowd for the Dodgers and for this pitching matchup between Ubaldo Jimenez and Clayton Kershaw. Pretty good hack, Huey.
Try to get on top of it like Martin Prado did the other day. Just wasn't able to get up on it enough, though.
That's inside. Yeah, Jimenez jumped back. That's the pitch Dexter Fowler told me in the clubhouse that every player from the right side's got to stay off of. The pitch, it looks like it's on the inside corner. And then as we were talking about that late cut, don't fire at it. Don't fire at that. 2-1.
It all goes back to that point George made a moment ago with the illustration where you don't see the ball because he hides it behind his body, behind his legs so well. And then those cutters on your hands at 92 to 94, there's nothing you can do with them.
This is in the air down the right field line, and Eaky's not going to have a play.
Yeah, they all wore green shirts in that section.
They must have talked beforehand, don't you think?
Taking a little green, huh?
Highly coincidental that many people were the same color green, and they're all seated in the same general area. Two and two. Spilborg just doubled. He's at second. Olivo intentionally passed. He is at first. And a chopper to Kershaw. In the inning, the Rockies take the lead on career home run number 330 for Todd Helton, an opposite field shot. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Brakes Plus a whole lot more. By King Soopers, our people make the difference. And by Hyundai Uncensored, real people, real comments on the all-new 2011 Hyundai Sonata. Visit your Colorado Hyundai dealers today. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jeff Hewson at Coors Field. The Rockies ahead on Todd Helton's 330th home run. He's now one behind the former great Detroit Tiger Hall of Famer Hank Greenberg. 94th place on the all-time list. And that pitch to Pasednik is low. Second time through for the Dodgers. Pasednik had a single up the middle his first time in a 9-pitch at bat. Jimenez had to throw 42 pitches the first time through. He gave up 3 hits. The walk was an intentional one. And this one to help. And Jimenez, a long stride to get over. 3-1 if you score with us at home. 1 out. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. Todd Helton. This is from yesterday. We know we're still in it, and we know we're never out of it. The last part, a reflection of what occurred, George, on Wednesday afternoon.
Well, championship teams realize that they have 27 outs to play, particularly when they're comfortable in their home ballpark. And this team is very comfortable. And again, I said the unsung hero yesterday's game, yes, there was a lot of hits. Yes, there was some bases loaded situations. But for Matt Reynolds to come in and eat up 3 innings and only give up 1 hit and allow that offense to gather itself back in again, I think that was a huge difference yesterday. Matt did a great job.
Oh, phenomenal job. And Manuel Corpus was saying before the game today, and he knows he may be facing, a difficult road back with the elbow situation. He said, I knew I had to go out there, and he said, I was just trying to eat up 2 or 3 innings because there was no other body down there that was a long haul type pitcher, and it wasn't a slap at Matt Reynolds, but Matt Reynolds is brought up as a situational lefty. Nice try by Eric Young. Terrio's going to have a floating single.
But I think the one thing that does separate Matt Reynolds away from that situational lefty, his ability to throw the slider for strikes and the velocity of his fastball. Most situational guys have dropped down, sidearm, big slurs. But Reynolds can run it to 91, 92 miles an hour.
Let's not forget he also had a walk, though, and scored a run when Dexter Fowler got the double. Or triple, excuse me. 2 runs scored before that, and then Dexter came in.
He had a pretty good day yesterday.
He kind of went Little League, didn't he?
Said he hadn't been up since junior college. Ethier at the plate, 1 on and 1 out. Ethier had a bloop double down the left field line. The only ball that's been hit decently tonight by the Dodgers was Podsednik's single. Terrio will run. He's got 18 stolen bases. He's been caught 9 times, though. Huey, if you're Ryan Terrio, not really a great place to run, is it?
No, not with Andre Ethier up either, because you want him to be able to have that hole if he decides he wants to try to pull one between first and second. And you've got Matt Kemp following that up, who has great numbers against the ball, though.
2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes on Ethier. And he punches that one foul.
It looked like a Todd Helton swing, just trying to foul it off.
Baldo's been out of the stretch quite a bit in the first 3 innings. Pulled to help. Thank you very much. That's a double play. And that ends the 3rd inning. Rockies have a 1-0 lead. Ethier hit it hard. He hit it, however, right at Todd Helton. No chance for Terrio. Kershaw here in the third inning. Eric Young hit a fly ball to right. UI hitting better from the left side than the right side. Jamie Carroll picks up the short hop and throws to first, 1 out. Let's visit for the first time tonight with Mark Stout. Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys. By the way, the green shirts that you see, ProBuild is here. It's a Denver lumber company, and they're one of the biggest in the nation, and they're having a day here at the ballpark. Let's talk a little bit more about Clayton Kershaw and allowing home runs. The home run Helton hit off of him is only the 29th he's allowed in his entire career, and only 3 players have hit more than 1 home run off of Clayton Kershaw. Those 3 are Adam Dunn with 3, Brad Hopp and Ryan Spilborghs with 2 each. And I talked to Ryan Spilborghs before the game at the batting cage. I said, how are you feeling? Because you know what? Hitting 270, you have the 4th highest average on the team. He couldn't believe it. He said, I feel like I'm seeing the ball well, hitting it well. I'm hitting a lot of balls at people. And he said, you know what? I always think that I'm going to hit 300 no matter what, and that I'm an everyday player. But he knows that he has had success against Clayton Kershaw. He had the double last inning. He loves playing against the Dodgers. Steve Sachs was his Dodger growing up, so he was excited to play in this game. But he has had success, and Kershaw has now allowed 6 of those 29 home runs here at Coors Field. Drew, George?
Yeah, he has an ERA over 6 in this ballpark. Here's the 2-1. And Dexter fouls it off. Mark just mentioned Brad Hopp, and we want to update everybody. Brad Hopp is now a member of the Tampa Bay organization, who signed a minor league contract today. He'll report to Class A Charlotte. Those are the numbers from this season. 7 home runs, 37 driven in. You're saying, well, he's starting at Class A. Well, Brad hasn't played in a game now in the better part of 2 weeks. That's strike 3 on Fowler. They did not pick him up to play minor league baseball. And Brad, I think, chose Tampa because that would afford him the best opportunity to get a great number of at-bats down the stretch. And, oh, by the way, Tampa looks like they're going to be in the postseason here.
Well, also it looks like he's going to be with a pretty good baseball team that maybe he could further on with a contract next year.
Plus, he gets to play 3 different positions because they have the DH, first base, and some outfield.
Well, they need a bat in Tampa, as did Texas, Boston, other teams that were interested in his services.
Cargo struck out swinging the first time up. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the 1-0. Saw all heaters in the first at bat. Slider dropped in there. It's 1-1. Mentioned earlier that against the Rockies in that start in LA, Kershaw threw 85% fastballs. On the season, against the rest of the league, he's thrown his fastball 73% of the time. That's way above average. And if you can throw it on both sides of the plate with the late movement that he's able to get, probably a good idea.
Well, I think, too, a lot of teams will help him by swinging at pitches up out of the strike zone. I mean, he elevates his fastball. And because of the short arm action, the 95 seems like 100, and it gets on you pretty quick.
Gonzalez doing a little bit more of that of late, taking the walk. So he'll go to first, and Tulowitzki will come up.
Coors Field Suites, party facilities, and picnic areas. They fit any event and any budget. So pick up the phone at 303-312-2444. That's a great way to enjoy the ball game. Has some wonderful food here at Coors Field. Bring along a bunch of buddies.
Tulowitzki grounded to short. His initial appearance against Kershaw. Not a lot of success against Kershaw for Troy. 4 for 24. It's in there for a strike. Jeff, did you burn something on the barbecue down there?
No, but it smells good. It's coming. I think it's coming from left field. Maybe Famous Dave's out there.
I think it's done.
Just some nice ribs out there. That's all.
They were nice ribs.
Oh, but see that smoke.
Hey, you know,
I know you order your ribs out a lot. See, you got to smoke the ribs, Drew. You got to put them in a smoker and let the smoke smoke them. That's why they call them smoked Ribs.
Last time I was in Tulsa, you told me you were going to cook for me, and what happened?
You showed up at 4 for a game at 6, and I had to take you to Stillwater, if you want to know the truth. Like anybody cares at home, but Drew called me fans and said, George, what are you doing? I said, nothing. Did you come get me at the airport? Oh, yeah? What time do you have to be at your game? In an hour and a half.
Well,
and did we make it?
Absolutely.
That's right. It's good to have a son that's a police officer.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Troy. 2 outs. Gonzalez just walked.
Kershaw's pretty difficult to read over here at first base.
Is it because of the leg kick, hand positioning?
Well,
What's
he starts to drift towards home a little bit, but even off of that drift, he'll come over to first. There was a little drift right there, and it still came over to first.
Well, you go to stealing bases. Not that Gonzalez is, the guy's got 20. Looking to build on it, but they're only 50% success rate against Kershaw. He's able to lock guys down pretty good, 8 of 16.
And the 1-2's in the dirt, 2-2. Kershaw tied for the league lead in pickoffs, and he's tied with a couple of southpaws from the Padres.
And to me, Richard had one of the best I've ever seen. His is outstanding.
Outfield straight up and deep for Tulowitzki. And now it's 3-2. The Rockies able now to extend the pitch count a little bit on Kershaw. His next pitch will be his 54th.
Well, if you're Gonzalez here, you have to make sure that he throws home. You can't get picked.
Strike 3. Tulowitzki called out by Colbreth. And that ends the inning. We'll go to the 4th inning. The Rockies 1 and the Dodgers nothing. Fun fact. We were talking about this yesterday or 2 days ago because the Braves in the first 4 innings, every player in their lineup, including their pitcher, Jair Jurgens, had an extra base hit. And we found out that since 1952, it had happened only 5 times. Matt Kemp fouls off the first offering. And the last time that it happened in the National League was 1978. Which is more impressive because the American League has the DH. And then the time before that was 57 in a 27-14 ball game. Line drive to right. Spilborghs is there. One gone. That'll bring up James Loney. Did you know that providing shade around your air conditioning unit can save up to 3% off your cooling costs? Find more money-saving information at responsiblebynature.com. So here's the Houstonian, James Loney. Quite a high school pitcher also down in the Houston area. In fact, he was scouted as both a position player and a pitcher. On the ground foul. 0-2. In the second half, the Dodgers are just 6-14 out on the road. That sounds familiar. And that includes the 3-game sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers over the last few days. 0-2, and Loney keeps the bat going.
Yeah, they have really struggled, obviously, out on the road. You know, this is interesting. First games of a series, the Dodgers are 19-22. The Rockies, 19-22. Same exact record, yet the Rockies, where they've really made a lot of hay, is right here at home. 14-6 in the first game of that series. We're out on the road, struggled at 5-16.
0-2, see you later. Peter at 98 on the outside corner. That's no fun. 2 outs, second strikeout for Ubaldo.
Now you want to paint a picture. This is the way to do it. You call this Rembrandt out of the dugout. On the corner, on the block, a pitcher's pitch at 98.
That'll bring up Casey Blake. Ball 1 on Blake. Blake was 1 for 4 yesterday against Milwaukee. It was a home run. And a line drive that Tulowitzki can't quite get to. So for the 4th straight inning, Ubaldo Jimenez will have to work out of the stretch. You have to have a 1-2-3 inning. That'll bring up Jamie Carroll, who had to hit his first time up. Take a look at our AT&T trivia question. In the 07 play-in game against the Padres, who hit the sac fly that scored Matt Holliday with the game-winning run? Every Rockies fan has their hand raised.
Okay, I'll go ahead and put mine down then.
I was wondering why you were.
Yeah, I was ready.
Person behind you would like you to put that
actually,
down also.
Everybody behind him went, hey, Jeff knows the answer to trivia.
I got some good fans back here.
They're only good if they gave you hot dog, popcorn, or whatever else beverage you would like to have while you're sitting there.
They're good. They haven't yelled once. Bad, I should say. Haven't yelled bad things yet.
First. I think catchers every so often they just get antsy. You got to throw the baseball.
Get bored.
Yeah. And if you have the right arm that Miguel Olivo possesses, you'd want to throw a lot too. It's Barajas on deck, the other catcher in this game. Look out. Huey, I can't see anymore. I have not seen you move that fast since your final days in the big leagues.
Since I quit playing.
Yeah.
That thing came right over here.
Yeah, the guy behind you's tapping his heart.
Yeah. I was down over here. There's no way. You know what? I had my glove behind home plate the other night. I forgot it right here. And this is even worse.
Well, hopefully everybody's okay. 2-2. That is scary stuff when those line drives sizzle into the stands. Three and 2 on Carroll. This inning following the same pattern pretty much of the other innings. Waldo gets a couple guys out, and then there's a hit or a walk, and then a deep count. Blake will be off with the pitch. And ball 4. And now you have 2 on for Barajas.
Well, you can see the numbers. They continue to climb in this ball game. 41 strikes so far in the ball game.
Barajas was intentionally passed his first time up. This will be his first true at bat in his career against Ubaldo Jimenez. He had quite a Dodger debut on Tuesday after the trade from the Mets. He went 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles and a home run.
Well, nothing to take away from Brad Ausmus, but the guy's 41 years old. Can't catch every single day. A.J. Ellis was a guy that career minor leaguer. So they needed to get a catcher for the last 5 weeks. And when they started winning a few ball games, obviously kind of changed how things were going to go. So they went out and got what they thought the best available guy that they could get to catch. You know, the big thing for Barajas is he's been a backup guy, but he's also been with the New York Mets. He's been his second stint around with, I believe, in the National League West, maybe even third. Journeyman type guy. But he's a good catch and throw guy, and occasionally run into the fastball.
Yeah, he has power. He's always had that.
It goes back to you don't realize what you have until you lose it, and I think they're kind of figuring that out with Russell Martin being gone for the rest of the year.
And he wasn't having a good year, but it was better than anything else they had.
1 and 2 on Barajas. Talking about Brad Ausmus. Ausmus caught yesterday. Actually did a nice job. Went 3 for 4.
Well, it's not that he doesn't do a nice job. He can do a nice job. It's just the wear and tear on that body of a 41-year-old to ask him to go out there 5-6 days a week.
And did he go? Yes, he did. Barajas a strikeout victim. Blake and Carroll left aboard. Middle of 4, the Rockies ahead 1-0 on the Helton home run. Dane's legendary performance. Well, back in 1955, in just his second big league start, the great Sandy Koufax 2-hit the Reds, and he struck out 14, just a foreshadowing of what was to come as he dominated the first half of the decade of the 60s for the Dodgers. Melvin Mora leading off. He takes ball 1. Melvin hit the ball very hard his first time up, robbed of a hit by Casey Blake.
Jeff, infield question I have to ask you right now. Why is Blake playing even with the bat when you have an athletic left-handed pitcher on the mound?
And that's a good question, because Melvin Mora, I can't remember the last time he tried to bunt for a base hit. So obviously it's something their scout told him, play even, but maybe he scoots back once the play comes, and that's what he does.
That's awkward, isn't it, to do that,
Huey? I hated doing it. I did it every once in a while, but I tried to move back before the pitch was going across the plate, so then I could have a little bit of momentum coming back towards the plate, because if not, you're going back on your heels. You have no range whatsoever.
This is popped up and out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Melvin Mora, 38 years young. And he's a crack up. Melvin is a very funny guy, very witty guy.
You would be too if you had that many kids.
Yeah.
You had 5 of them that looked like you did. Would you have your wits?
6 in the Mora clan. His wife Giselle giving birth to quintuplets some time ago. And a bullet up the middle for Melvin Mora. Say who one of his biggest fans is, his manager, Jim Tracy. That is a professional hitter right there. Leadoff single. Helton coming up. Time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Here's his swing against Kershaw in the 2nd inning.
Well, you mentioned left-handers taking the ball out of the yard. This is pretty impressive to go to the opposite field that way. The other left-handers in the league that have taken him deep this year, you mentioned the 7. Prince Fielder is 1, Abreu, Dunn twice, Votto, and Helton. Garrett Jones the other.
Well, if you notice something about those names,
they're all pretty good.
They're all pretty good.
Yeah, they're not platoon left-handers.
No.
Well, if they were, they wouldn't be starting against Kershaw.
Yeah. And this ball is in the air to left, not as deep. But Sednick will grab it, 1 out. Time to check in with Mark Stout, tonight's Fast Cash Sideline Report. Go to Fast Cash Gold Centers where you always get 40% more for your gold. Here's Mark.
Yeah, guys, you were talking about Rod Barajas coming to the Dodgers. He has got an interesting story. He is from Southern California. He's loving life now. And I said, how did you get to the big leagues? Didn't make it out of high school. Didn't make it out of community college. Had one last shot. Went to one of those open tryouts because there was a scout from the Diamondbacks that knew him from community college. Said, come on out. 40 or so guys come, 10 catchers. He said, I did everything well. They said at the end of the tryout, don't call us, we'll call you. The scout came up to him and said, we're calling you tomorrow. They called him, went over to his house, said, got no money to offer you, but the Diamondbacks have a plane ticket. You know the Matt Daly story, similar. We'll fly you somewhere. He flew to Lakeland, Florida. And I said, why'd you go there? And he said, I was part of a co-op team for A-ball. And I didn't really know the A-ball situation as this is hit deep to right field. And a nice catch made by Ethier. But I want Huey to explain to everybody what co-op ball is, and that's what he played, and he's now been 10 years in the big leagues. Huey, you were part of co-op ball.
Yeah, well, I was, Mark. I mean, my first year in pro ball, I was part of a co-op, and what happens there is half the team is part of one organization, half the team is part of another organization. So for myself, it happened to be where it was Montreal and Kansas City. So there was 13 Montreal Expo players, 12 Kansas City Royal players, and we played as a team. Our manager was a Montreal Expo. Our pitching coach was a Royal guy. At home, we wore Expo uniforms. On the road, we wore Royal uniforms. There's your co-op.
And it was a really weird dynamic. I could just pick up on this because Huey's told me the story. None of the Royals guys would talk to any of the Expos guys, which made for very interesting bus rides.
Yeah, well, we had it separated, too. Expo sat on one side, Royal sat on the other.
Yeah. One had cheese pizza, the other had pepperoni.
Good for Rod Barajas.
You know, it's a great story that Mark tells, and believe it or not, it is not as unusual as you might think. Jeff, you had a similar story.
Yeah, I wasn't drafted. I signed for $1,500. It's the same sort of thing, and a plane ticket, and an opportunity, and it's what you make of that opportunity.
And I said, I didn't care I was playing on a co-op. I was just playing. I was happy about that.
Sure. 1 ball and 1 strike on Miguel Olivo.
It goes back to the old line. It's not where you start. It's where you finish.
Yep. One and 2 on Olivo. Rockies winners of 4 straight, trying to make it 5 in a row. First time they're 6 games over 500 since July 23rd. And George, they're going to see the Dodgers, including tonight, this is 9 more times this year. They have to flip the tables on the Dodgers.
Well, you have to if you're going to have any chance at all, particularly, well, hey, you know what? It's baseball time for the next 15 days. Dodgers, Giants, Phillies for 1, Padres, and then Cincinnati Reds. It's all right there for you. If you want it, you can take it. It's set up pretty well for you.
The Dodgers have a tough go also the next week and a half.
The last time they won a series against the Dodgers was in August of 08.
Yeah, 10 series ago against LA. Manny Ramirez. LA's next 3 series, including the Rockies, the Phils, and the Giants. 2-2. There's 3-2. Ubaldo on deck.
I think it's interesting, and looking at those numbers, 213, 221, combined averages of the 2 clubs when they faced each other. They'll score a lot of runs.
Good swing. Let's look at the matchup head-to-head. George was talking about the low batting average. The runs are very close. Unfortunately, the Dodgers have won most of the tight games, other than the last one in LA when the Rockies prevailed 3-2. Not many home runs, good team ERAs. And 2 of those 3 series took place at Dodger Stadium. Olivo making Kershaw work. It's a good at bat from Miguel.
70 pitches now in the ball game. .39 strikes, 31 balls.
And a ground ball to third. Tough pickup by Blake. He made it look easy on the backhand side. In the inning, Morris single. He's left at first. 4 innings complete. The Rockies have the only run. Call 303-571-1114 and ask about our hometown sports package. By Larry H. Miller Nissan, driven by you. By the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by Big Brothers Big Sisters, donate your car, you'll get a free tow and tax break, and you'll help change a kid's life. Here we go, top of the 5th inning. Clayton Kershaw takes strike one. Kershaw hit with runners at first and second in the 2nd inning with 2 outs, and hit a fly ball to left on a 3-2 pitch. 0-2. Another former Rocky, George, on the move. 4-time All-Star. In fact, Brian Fuentes traded today from the Angels to the Twins. He joins Randy Flores on the left side of that bullpen.
Well, the Angels have started to fall out of things. A lot of injuries. They're not going to be, doesn't look like they're going to catch the Rangers. They're double digits out. And it's the last year of his contract. You know, that 2+1 thing he signed out there. So it's kind of an easy way to help out the Twins, honestly. To help them try to maintain the lead over the White Sox. And right now, folks, there's so many guys thrown out on waivers. Teams claim them. You have 48 hours to pull them back. You know, can you work a trade out with somebody? Manny Ramirez, one of those guys right now, claimed by the White Sox. The next 48 hours, trying to determine what he will do. Or should I say what the White Sox and Dodgers maybe be able to work out? Yeah, and for me, you know, Manny's Manny, but I think you agreed, Jeff, earlier when you stated he's a DH.
Yeah, he is. But you know, the thing that surprises me now, George, is the way that this is getting out on the wire, guys that are on waiver wires, because it used to be you never knew.
No, you never knew about it.
And now players know about it, and I'm not sure that's right.
Agents find out and then inform the players of everything and let them know what's going on. A lot of that happens. You have some people within baseball that, quite honestly, like to talk to the media and leak it out that way.
I'll tell you one thing, as he jogs back to the dugout, Clayton Kershaw is responsible for, I think, 14 of the 80 pitches thrown now by Ubaldo Jimenez with 1 out in the 5th inning. That's a high number.
And high number this early. I mean, 80 pitches. Working in the 5th inning right now, that would have basically you'd have to have a couple of short innings to get to the 7th or 8th inning and hand it over to your bullpen.
Again, they're short out there. I mean, you have Belisle down there on the plus side. Obviously, Houston Street.
Well, short in a respect. Oh, it's hit pretty well to left.
This ball's hit really well to left. And makes a catch, and he runs into the wall again. What is it about the Dodgers and walls with Carlos Gonzalez? This time he gets up. He is some kind of player.
Well, great read, great kid, fearless of everything that goes on the field. Not afraid to Wednesday when he slid into the wall, the end of the ball game, as he did against the Braves. This time you catch it. The one thing you always worry, you can see even though this is padded, jamming a shoulder up against that wall. And when you jam that shoulder, obviously dislocation, a lot of things come in, broken collarbone. You can see it on the Hyundai cam. And it took pretty well. Bounced up and still in the ball game.
And here's the catch at Dodger Stadium, and he lost 3 ball games because of this, with a shaken up body and a bruised knee. That's the other thing Joe Torre was talking about with Carlos Gonzalez today in his office. He said everything he does, and we get the luxury of seeing him every day, he said everything he does is so smooth. The swing at the plate, how he glides to the ball in the outfield.
Well, I think now, too, Drew, that he's going to say, well, he made that catch in right field. He's made a catch in left field. I've seen him in center field. Really, what can't the kid do?
I haven't seen him at short yet.
Good point.
2-1, and Terrio swung a day late. 2-2.
Of course, you got to ask the question right now, who's the guy in Oakland that said, yeah, put him in a trade. He's not ever going to make it. And the guy in Arizona said, go ahead and stick him in one of those 25 guys they sent for Heron to go on over in that trade. He's probably sitting in the back of the room right now, huh? That conference table.
Line drive, Spilborghs picked it up on the short hop. And Dexter Fowler, that is well done by Dexter. You'll never see it, but Dexter was in a full sprint behind Spilborghs in case that shot by him, and that's the job of the center fielder there, but sometimes guys don't always do that, Huey.
Oh, no, they'll get caught just watching the play, and he understands right now if Ryan goes for this and he misses it, Dexter's going to be the closest guy, and you can see him come into your screen just a little bit, but he would have been able to beat Ryan Spilborghs back to the wall.
Don't fall asleep with Terrio. Drew mentioned at the start of the telecast, 18 stolen bases. He has been caught 9 times. Don't worry about it.
No, it's popped up in the middle of the infield. Tulowitzki in help. And Troy makes the catch. What a catch by Carlos Gonzalez to Rod Scott Podsednik. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. That was a 72nd pitch for Kershaw. See if the Rockies can grind on him a little bit this inning. Just 3 hits for the Rockies against Kershaw. Kershaw lost in his last outing against Cincinnati, even though he pitched well. 3 runs on 5 hits in 7 innings. He struck out 11. But the Dodgers got beat 5-2. 3-0 right now on Jimenez. Huey, you want to give the take sign in case he missed it from...
Do you want me to yell it out loud or just put
Richie
both
down?
fingers out?
You can yell it. I know Richie indicated that.
I think Richie's doing a fine job over there at third base. He doesn't need my help at all.
Yeah, he doesn't need your help. Here's the 3-1. And now he can swing away again.
Just trying to do to Clayton what Clayton's done to him.
Yeah. Casey Blake gets Jimenez by a step. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. All right, in the 07 playing game against the Padres, who had the sac fly that won the game? Come on. See, every once in a while we throw out a cookie for you. Jamie Carroll. And a very good throw from Brian Giles. Nearly got Matt Holliday at the plate. Tim McClellan indicating safe. Matt was a little out of it at that point in time, so the celebration then moved to Jamie Carroll. 2 outs.
Right, just when you think his pitch count's going to jump up there, Ubaldo's got 87 through 5. All of a sudden, you have 2 pretty quick outs. Hey, don't forget about tomorrow. The first 15,000, they're going to receive a coffee tumbler courtesy of King Super. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, go to ColoradoRockies.com. So you get one of those tumblers tomorrow. Be one of the first 15,000 through the gates as they take on the Dodgers here at Coors Field.
Dexter Fowler's 0 for 2 tonight. He's hit 9 of his last 10, hitting .291 since the All-Star break. And he takes strike one. So the other impressive thing about Dexter since actually the beginning of July, he's driven in 21 runs. And primarily he's been hitting in the 2 spot. He's had some big hits.
Well, the other thing I like too, Drew, is his left-handed average. It's getting up there now at 247, almost what it is right-handed.
Funny you should mention that, because earlier he told me that he feels right now as comfortable on the left side as he does on his natural side, the right side. And he would not have made that statement back in May.
No, I mean, that's when he got sent down to Colorado Springs. A lot of people were questioning, should he even continue to hit from the left side? I think he's answered that.
2-2.
Success breeds confidence, obviously, and he's had that success. Don Baylor's played a role in that. Latchman down in AAA played a role in lowering the hands and getting him comfortable.
It's that cutter that's hard to handle. He stayed off it. 3-2.
You know it's coming, too.
That wasn't an easy pitch, Jeff,
well,
to cover, was it?
No, and I think Dexter was kind of mumbling to himself, oh, that was ball 4, but it's one of those pitches where you're committed to swinging at it because you see it up a little bit, and then you're fortunate you just foul it off.
Well, Cobra's called a couple of those high pitches. Did it on 2 to Whiskey when he ran him up.
This ball's driven to right center field. It'll be at least a double, then it's booted by Ethier. Foul on his way to third. He was able to get that top hand through a high pitch there. And Dexter, if they give him a triple, it's his 10th of the year. We'll see.
On the Hyundai Cam, you're going to take a look at the high fastball, and what Dexter did was just get on top of the baseball, let Kershaw supply the power. You make the contact, and then it's off to the races. Ethier booted it in right field, but when he bumped this baseball, Dexter already at second base, and he would have been into third, I think, either way.
No official word yet. 2 outs. Carlos Gonzalez, a strikeout and a walk. Chance to give the Rockies a 2-run lead. Now they've scored it. It is a triple. His 10th of the year. That leads baseball. Swung on and missed. Let's take a look at the Amica hit zone on Gonzalez. It's not how you're covered. It's how you're treated with Amica.
Well, you look, right here is kind of all the hot zone. Got one little spot down there. Got one little spot down here. You can throw it if you want to get him out. That's all I'll tell you.
Yeah, look. I mean, look. They put it in blue, 296. That's pretty good average.
Yeah, anything below 300 goes into blue. But you know, it's kind of funny how the one little area bottom right if you're left-handed. Otherwise, you're really not going to have a whole lot of fun. Yeah, we're talking about this little square right down here. You can throw it over there every time. You got a chance.
I think Carlos wants that last pitch back. That was center cut. He was right on it. 0-2 the count. Not this time.
They found that box on the outside corner.
Yeah, they did. So we move on. 1-0 Colorado. To the 6th we go. Padres, and he also got his first hit, and it came off a very good pitcher, Jake Peavy. He joined Mark Strittmatter. There's Stritty, Rockies catching instructor, bullpen catcher, and also Ben Petrick is the only catcher drafted by the Rockies to get to the big leagues in a Rockies uniform. Matt Kemp takes ball one, a strikeout and a line drive to right for Kemp. Sixth inning, the Dodgers on the wrong end of a 1-0 score. And Jimenez misses down low. Ubaldo has not been particularly sharp, but he's gotten the big outs. And he was late on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
There are those pitchers that get stronger as the game goes deeper. Jimenez is one of those guys.
I think his great conditioning is one of the large reasons you can make that statement. Here's the 2-1. Pitch at 98. We've seen several top the charts at 98 from Ubaldo tonight.
Well, the other good thing too for Ubaldo, it's a very nice night down here at field level. It's not too hot, not too cold, just a perfect temperature to go out and play a game.
Here's the 2-2. And that's, see you later. That's his drop down slider, George.
It is a drop down, and it's got to be the ultimate surprise, you know. And again, this is a pitch that you've got to be able to spin it. And when you do spin it after throwing good heat at him, see, we're able to lock the shoulders up on top. And I think that's what you have to do. What you don't want to do is what happened to you in Arizona with Young, where you hang that and he reads it out of the hand and anticipates it.
So Justin Upton said that night after the game, he said, I don't know what pitch I hit. I just saw baseball and swung.
I hate to tell you, I think he lied.
I think he did. He had to
I
identify.
think he lied to the media. He saw it.
1-0 on James Loney, and that's an off-speed pitch for a strike. 1-1. Sixth inning. And this is a fly ball to center field. Two gone as Casey Blake will make his way to the plate. Time for tonight's Quest high-speed pitch. Ubaldo has actually hit 99 tonight. Kershaw, he's no slouch, at 95. That is brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. These two hooked up. A great ball game earlier this year at Dodger Stadium, won by Kershaw in LA 2-0. That was the night, we showed you the highlights in the open, where Ubaldo left trailing 1-0. He gave up 2 hits in 7 innings, and neither hit left the infield. That was the ball with a runner on second that he redirected off his glove, a little comebacker, and Barmes had started up the middle to get to the baseball, which he would have. Obviously, Ubaldo doesn't know that. And it redirected past Barmes, who had to, change direction quickly, and the runner scored. Here's Jamie Carroll off the glove. Now Barmes has to put on the brakes. Just out of his reach, far enough out of his reach that the run would score. That was the ball game. On the ground, deep short. Tulowitzki sets his feet, and that's all for Casey Blake. First 1-2-3 inning of the night for Ubaldo. Middle of 6, the Rockies. catch by Carlos Gonzalez to rob Scott and set it. An inning ago. It's our Frostbrewed Coors Light freeze can. This tells you how gutty Gonzalez is. After running to the wall a week ago against the Dodgers, he's not gun shy at all. He did it again tonight. Rockies up 1-0. Troy Tulowitzki to lead off in the bottom of the 6th against Kershaw.
By the way, I just very quickly want to say that all the Rockies fans and the FSN crew, Drew, myself, and Huey, our thoughts with Clint Varmus right now. He's away with his ill father. I know we mentioned it back in the pregame and in the open. But Clint, I'm sure you're back in Indiana watching this ball game. And if you are, with your dad, and obviously all the best from all of us.
No question. Clint's biggest fan, his parents, his dad Barry, and Barry looked great. We just saw him a couple weeks back on the road.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was in Cincinnati. Made his way with a ton of Barnes clan from Indiana. Barry, we wish you the best. He's a strong man. Tulowitzki with a leadoff single. And Melvin Mora will come up. Melvin had a leadoff single back in the 4th, but the Rockies could not advance him. It's just Tulowitzki's 5th career hit against Kershaw. Had some good hacks, Huey, against Kershaw.
If there's anybody that's not having a problem picking up the ball, it's Melvin. But this just goes to kind of along the same lines as what he's been able to do almost all season long. Is he'll go out there and put a professional at bat against you. That's what he's done in his career, and that's what he's continued to do now.
Two. It's interesting, you know, we were talking about how Blake last time with Mora was eating with the bag and then backpedaling. He did on the first 2 pitches also until now with the 2-strike count, as if he thought Mora may lay down a sac bunt.
Well, that might be the only time that they would do that. 1-0 ball game. You're already in the bottom of the 6th inning. Want to try to squeeze out another run or two, obviously. So one way to do it would be drop down a bunt or maybe hit and run. Now, obviously, you wouldn't hit and run with 2 strikes. But those are the little things you have to think about.
This is pop foul out of play. Tulowitzki at first, 2-strike count on Melvin Mora, nobody out. A reminder, debuting tomorrow after the Rockies game, the CU 2010 football preview show. We always like to do preview shows before the season starts as opposed to, you know, in the middle of the season.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Jim Tracy saying in that 10-1 situation the other day, he was contemplating using Melvin Mora to pitch. Melvin afterwards saying, oh man, he said, I got nasty stuff. Fastball, curveball, slider, good change.
Yeah, that's why you got 1,500 hits too. If it was that nasty, pal, you wouldn't be getting all those hits in the big leagues.
But that's how wild that game was the other day. That Jim Tracy's contemplating having to use a position player, which is the last thing he wants to do. And then, lo and behold, the Rockies win 12-10. 2-2 now on the wannabe pitcher Melvin Mora. There's a former pitcher. Closed some games when he was a Tennessee Volunteer. Todd Helton, he was a good closer also. In a good baseball conference, the SEC. I think Kershaw thinking Huey the right way. You never know.
Just give him a token throw over in case he decides to take off first movement. More than likely, if anything, he'll wait to see if it gets to 3-2 and then maybe take off then.
Not going, and it swung on and missed. That's the 5th strikeout for Kershaw, and that'll bring up Helton.
For a guy that is second in the league in strikeouts with 179 now, you know, you kind of anticipate maybe a few more strikeouts. Well, the Rockies been able to put the bat on the baseball. It's just the one run across on Helton's big blast to left.
Helton, the difference in this game, a home run in the 2nd inning to left field. And if you missed it, here it is.
Yeah, just carried until he got out of this ballpark. And suddenly gave chase to the ball, thinking he had an opportunity at it, and he didn't.
5th of the year, 330th of his career. Nelson's coming back off the disabled list and working hard to build some strength in the legs with all the back issues. He has been a different hitter, well above 300. And he's driving the ball. 3-0. Spilborgh's on deck. Helton hitting above 320, in fact, since coming off the disabled list on August 3rd. And they cut him loose, 3-0. It's 3-1. He didn't get cheated.
I like it.
Hot bat, why not? Let him go at it, left on left.
A little drop and drive in that swing also, 3-2.
Do a 3-2 slider to Gonzalez. Will they do it to Helton? Fastball. He fought it off.
Yeah, Tulowitzki was moving on that 3-2 delivery. If your windshield has any damage to it, make sure you call Elite Safelight Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com.
Now you have to be concerned that they might throw over after taking off the pitch before.
What are you talking about, Huey?
You're so smart, Huey. Holy cow. Threw that out there on those guys.
You know what? That was as easy as they come right there.
Why didn't you yell back?
Glenn Allen Hill's got a cover.
I haven't heard him
yell
yell back in 3 years.
He's 5 feet away from Troy. He's got an easier call than I do.
And this ball driven to deep left again, near the line, bending out of play. Todd's hitting above 270 against lefties this year. He's at 255 against righties. His personal average of overall at 260, that's the highest it's been in quite some time. Swung on and missed. Kershaw with his 106th pitch strikes out Helton. Now Spilborghs will come up with 2 outs.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? Hyundai Cam, there's that slider. And that's the one pitch he was able to throw for a strike when he needed to. And he got Gonzalez earlier. Now he gets Helton with this.
Well, with Kershaw where he is on the pitch count and due up third next inning.
Bye-bye.
In all likelihood, you're right. It'll be bye-bye. And that's what the Rockies want to do. Any night you want to get into the bullpen, but particularly a bullpen that had to eat up a bunch of outs yesterday. The Dodger bullpen's been in a good place the last few days, but still.
A lot of innings.
A lot of innings. Ball one on Spilborghs. Ryan a double and a drive to deep right. Andre Ethier made a nice catch up against the wall. Tulowitzki a leadoff single. He's still at first base. Kershaw has recorded strikeouts for each of the last 3 outs. 6 in the game. One and two. I think the Rockies, especially this year, struggle with Kershaw more than any other pitcher I can think of.
3-0, 0.90 earned run average, and the earned run average has gone down. It hasn't gone up.
He's doing it here in this ballpark, which he hasn't always done in the past.
He's 3-2 with about 680 earned run average coming into this game.
But the key is he's won 3 of the 5 decisions. So,
team, I mean, that's the thing about it. He didn't get a lot of run support. He's 47th among Major League Baseball pitchers as far as run support is concerned. If he had the run support, he'd probably have it right there with Ubaldo at 17, maybe 18 wins right now.
Two, 3-2. He's now at 111 pitches. Regardless of what happens after this inning, even with the strikeouts, because he's had to throw a lot of pitches this inning. Can't imagine Joe Torre asking him to go out, especially since he's due up next inning, and go pitch another inning. It's fouled off, out of play.
Most pitches that he's thrown in a ball game this season, 117 a couple of times. He's going to make that 5 times. In his last start against Cincinnati, 118 pitches, and he's sitting right now at 112.
That's fouled off again. Another 3-2 pitch upcoming.
Well, you know, Spilborghs has swung the bat well against him. The double, then a line drive against the wall in right field. Today, Ethier made a nice catch on it.
And that's going to reach the folks in the seats as well.
Dotel worked an inning yesterday. He may be one of those guys that come into the ball game. Talked to a lot of people with the Dodgers or the Broxton. A Quo will close it, so he's trying to eliminate that left-right combination until they get back into the ball game.
I'm surprised.
What's going on down in their bullpen right now? Well, you know what? Is anything down there in the bullpen that's maybe a little bit tired better than what you already got on the mound and still throwing the ball pretty dang good?
Bobbled, and Blake still able to get Spilborghs. Rocky's got a hit. Tulowitzki, he's left the board. We'll go to the 7th, 1-0. third inning. Todd Helton at the plate, and he hits it out. His 5th home run this year. He has 2 home runs at Coors Field. Both have gone to the opposite field. That was actually back in the 2nd inning. And Ubaldo Jimenez has gotten the big out, so he's dealt with a little bit of traffic today. He throws Matt Kemp there. Cooney Lexus look back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. Top of the 7th inning, Ubaldo will face the bottom 3rd of the Dodger order. Carroll, who's got a hit and a walk in the contest, Rod Barajas, and then a pinch hitter for Kershaw. Ubaldo Jimenez, right at 100 pitches, looking for his 18th win of the year, which would be a new Colorado Rockies record for a pitcher. He shares 17 wins with Jeff Francis, Pedro Estacio, and Kevin Ritz. Here's the 0-1, and the breaking ball is high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jonathan Broxton is up. And if you haven't been following the Dodgers of late, Broxton is no longer the closer for LA. Ground ball deep, short, circling, on the move to Lewinsky, and out of the tag. Well done by Todd Helton.
I tell you what, Jamie Carroll never got the bag.
He never did, and he was in fair territory, George. It's an astute observation, because Todd, if there's a safe call, could have run and tagged him.
Yeah, well, if he calls him safe, there's going to be more than just Jim Tracy coming out of the dugout. I can tell you that. When he went all the way around this thing, he's about 2.5 feet from the bag when he tried to avoid the tag from Helton. That's the crazy part about it. He goes all the way out. I mean, he's so far out into the baseline, he couldn't have dove back and got it. Nice call, nice play. Both ends of it, Tulowitzki and Helton.
That was a really nice play from Todd, because you could see it at the minute it left Troy's hand that it was going to start to creep up the line just a little bit, and he came off the bag and made the play.
Popped up out of play. Ubaldo is going to deal with a couple of dangerous bats. One he's facing right now in Barajas. Not a big average guy, but a guy who can go deep. 13 home runs. And then in the on-deck circle, Jay Gibbons. One and two. Wouldn't you say, Huey, that he's thrown tonight at least 50% either breaking balls, primarily the curveball slider?
Absolutely. And it started from basically the 2nd pitch of the ball game.
You know, 4 of the first 6 pitches, in fact, to Podsednik leading off the evening were off-speed pitches. Here's the 1-2. Dropped down, but through the heater there at 97. It's always nice to be able to do that. 2-2. And that misses. 3-2. Crowd of 41,964. 36 folks shy of 42,000 at Coors Field on a beautiful Friday night. 1-0 Colorado. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout, and a line drive to left, and it kicks away from Gonzalez. Fowler is going to get there, and Barajas, who does not run well, with the Dodgers down by a run, will stay at first base. Jay Gibbons will be the pinch hitter with 1 out and 1 on. Let's check in with Mark Stout quickly for tonight's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. Mark?
All right, guys, there's a new arm in the bullpen as of today, Sammy Deduno. I went to Colorado Springs yesterday just hoping to talk to some Sky Sox that might come up when rosters expand. Little did I know he'd be here today. Catcher Paul Phillips, you know that name, gave me a good scouting report on him. He said he has the ability and the natural ability to throw a ball that doesn't go straight at all. It's very unpredictable, tough to catch, even tougher to hit. Franklin Morales is back in the pen as well. He is back up. He and Juan Rincon, Phillips and Juan Rincon, said that they've been working on him with his arm angle and with his command of his pitches, and they're hoping that he's going to get better. Guys?
And command, the operative word with both of those young guys. 1 ball, 1 strike on Gibbons, the former Baltimore Oriole. Told his story when the Rockies played the Dodgers last week in Los Angeles. He had been out of the big leagues for more than 2 years. Battled his way back with an enormous season this year at AAA Albuquerque. Well, when you've been an established player in the big leagues, and then it goes away for a significant period of time. I imagine he really prizes every day now in the big leagues. This is popped up, and Olivo won't have a play.
Now, you're not going to get a lot of help from Bob Schaefer and everybody else over in front of that bench because it's the Dodger bench. You're going to get a lot of you're all right, and then look out.
You know what?
Anything they can to distract. What your thought process is coming into it. You can see the guard running away, and Schaefer standing there. He's being a nice guy. He's going to go up and catch him.
I think you feel a little more secure, too, if you have that railing there where you know if I run into it, the railing's going to stop me, but that opening is different.
This is a double play ball. Tulowitzki's going to try to do it himself on the move, and he pulled it off. How about that play by the All-Star shortstop?
That's why he should wear Gold Glove every single year.
What a gorgeous play by Tulowitzki. Quick, easy, and available to anyone. Test drive it today. After this Dodgers series, the Rockies will be in the city by the bay to play the Giants. And then they'll come home Thursday morning, play the Phils at 5 o'clock here, and then head to San Diego right after the ball game, a weekend set against the Padres. To say it will be a big 10 days would be an understatement. It is that time of year, and good news right now from San Francisco. In the fourth inning, Arizona leading the Giants 4-0.
Cam Lincecum on the mound for the Giants.
And you know who's on the mound for Arizona? Barry Enright, who pitched very well against the Rockies last week. Tonight's call to the bullpen is brought to you by Xfinity Voice. Unlimited local and long distance calling. Call 1-800-XFINITY. There's the big man from Georgia, Jonathan Broxton.
Trouble at the All-Star break has been very evident. 3 of 6 in save opportunities, 1 and 4 record. The opposition's hit .280, 724 earned run average. Prior to the break, he was the All-Star. 3-0, 211, 19 of 21 in save opportunities. The opposition hit .230.
The one thing that everybody's noticed about Broxton of late, the velocity's down a little bit, and his control has gone awry somewhat. Barajas hoping for a play, won't have one.
thing I noticed just watching, when I go home and watch games on MLB or I'll watch games on the satellite, it seems like he's gone to his slider a lot more than he was his fastball. His fastball, and folks, we've seen it at 101 miles an hour before against the Rockies.
And he used to be, he had so many 1, 2, 3 innings, George. But this year, he's only retired the first batter 34 out of 53 times. Good swing by Olivo. He was on the heater. And that's a better fastball, Jeff, than we saw in L.A. last week. He wasn't anywhere close to 97 last week.
No, we were seeing 93 to 95. And that's leads into what George was saying about when you don't feel like you have your fastball, you got to try to trick him somehow. And you might not think 93, 95, that's pretty hard, but when a guy's been able to throw 98 to 100, when you face him again and he's lower in velocity, it just seems like it slows down almost 10 miles an hour.
Slider, wow, that was close. Fortunately, it was off the plate, and it's 2-2 on Oliva.
Yeah, look on the Southwest Skycam. You're going to be able to really see where this pitch came across because Barajas is setting so far off the plate it misses by almost 6 inches.
That's a good one to lay off because that's the one that's been giving Miguel problems. That slider away from him.
Part of the problem with Broxton's slider is when he adds so much velocity, when it gets 88, 90 miles an hour, it just kind of flat cutter. And it doesn't have a lot of movement. It's a 4 to 6 inch cut. So when it starts away from that right-handed hitter, they just automatically lay off of it, knowing that it's going to get out of the zone. It's that nasty one that he gets on top at about 84 to 87 that he throws right at you to lock your knees up.
3-2. And this ball lined the left, but Podsednik is right there. Well, Ubaldo Jimenez will hit for himself here with 1 out in the 7th inning. Here's today's in-game box score presented by Mass Mutual. Not a lot of hits for the Rockies, but they have the one big blow, a Helton home run in the 2nd inning. And the man at the plate has made it stand up. Ubaldo Jimenez.
113 pitches for Jimenez in this ball game.
This is basically the rematch of the ball game earlier this year at Dodger Stadium between these two, and it was 1-0 when Jimenez departed. He was on the wrong end of it, and tonight he's on the plus side, and Kershaw is on the south side.
Kershaw 6 innings, 5 hits. He punched out 6. He only walked a couple of those guys, but Todd Helton made him pay for one mistake that he hit all the way out of the ballpark. Jimenez has controlled his damage, the traffic on the base path.
One and two. Former Baltimore closer George Sherrill. Two outs. And Eric Young will come up 0 for 3 against Kershaw. Has been better from the left side. Right side, the right side of the plate, he's 5 for 30. And he's hitting .333 from this side of the plate.
Follow the Rockies on your phone with MLB.com @bat, featuring highlights and a whole lot more. It goes right on your phone there, Drew. You know that?
I
Right
did.
there.
I did.
Do it on mine too, right there. Huey can do it on his too.
So I follow baseball a lot. It's a nice app to have.
Huey's like a 17-year-old kid with that phone.
No, he's just got a 17-year-old kid, and you got to learn how to text to communicate. You're going to find out.
Here's the 0-2. And a bouncer that is a fair ball. Blake has had a very nice night defensively. We go to the 8th inning. The Rockies leading 1-0. For Eric Young, a straight-up switch. Ubaldo Jimenez, 115 pitches in, still out there. Besetnik at the plate, takes a strike at the knees. Huey, this is what the old-time aces did. And this is going to drop unless Dexter can make one of his catches. So Besetnik with his second hit of the night. A leadoff single with Terrio coming up in a 1-0 game. Our Breaks Plus poll of the game. The question was, Steven Strasburg rushed? I don't think so, but let's see how everybody else voted. Jeff doesn't think so. George doesn't think so. 51% believe he was. I don't think it had anything to do with him getting hurt. In fact, they really monitored his pitch count. He never threw 100 pitches in a game. Monitors innings this year at the minor league level also. Belisle and Beimel. Terrio at the plate. Moore in on the grass. And it's 1-0.
Yeah, Terrio swung it back well against Ubaldo Jimenez, so he kind of was surprised, but this is what it calls for. Try to get into scoring position and let 3, 4, 5 try to drive him in.
I guarantee you one thing. Tracy's not going to put Ubaldo in a position to lose this game.
I wouldn't be surprised if they hit and run.
We got a good hit and run man at the plate.
We just stared a long time down at Larry Bowa, and we've talked before. That's just kind of an indication for me that something is on.
Change up that coverage, Huey?
It depends on where the pitch is.
Particularly with a new guy. Terrio's been over there about, what, 20 days now, but, you know, you still start flashing signs and doing things and flipping it all around. Besetnik, new guy, too, make sure everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily mind switching it up where I had Troy cover. So even if it's a base hit through the hole on the left side, it's going to be tough for Scott to go first to third. But if you cover with the second baseman and he gets a base hit to right, easier for him to go all the way around to third.
Ubaldo's had only one 1-2-3 inning, true 1-2-3 inning. Fouled off. Last inning was a 1-2-3 inning, but there was a hit. You got Gibbons to ground into a double play. Next pitch will be the 120th of the night for Jimenez.
Hey, Jeff, I want to ask something real quick. Look out where Herrera is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a one-strike count. He could still bunt. He's let him swing the bat, but it appears to me he's probably not going to bunt. Boy, he's pretty short to try to turn it, isn't he?
He is a little bit, and he's a little bit over towards first base a little bit.
Sedney got a big jump. The throw to second is not going to be in time. 31st stolen base for Posednik.
Big, huge jump and a ball that was up and in on the right-hander, so that made it a little bit more difficult for him to catch and throw down.
Actually, let me correct that. It's his 5th with the Dodgers. It's his 35th this year.
Now that bunt might come back into play again.
Unless they pick him off. And they were very close to doing that on the daylight play.
That wouldn't have been any fun, would it?
You know, we have the opportunity to watch Troy on a nightly basis. I'd be hard pressed to find anybody that runs the daylight play any better than Troy. It's just the timing element of it all.
3-1. Got to believe with Ethier on deck and Loney 2 doors down, you'd see Beimel. It's the 7th time this year that Ubaldo has thrown more than 120 in a game. And that's ball 4. Now 2 are on for Andre Ethier. Now Apodaca's going to come out.
Well, looking for a unique place for your special event? Well, check out Coors Field. A great place to have it right here. 303 Rockies. For more information, you can go to ColoradoRockies.com and find out there also. You know, Bob Apodaca out to talk. It's you got your 3-hole hitter setting up. I would be very surprised that you would bunt him. Although you have a hitter in the on-deck circle through the history of hitting nearly 375 against Ubaldo. So, I mean, those are the choices Joe Torre has. I'm talking to Bob Schaefer right now. Loney tonight, or excuse me, Ethier tonight. And a dump double into left field. Other than that, he hadn't done much. Potent at bat, though. You're managing. What are you going to do?
I'm going to let him swing away. Andre Ethier.
Yeah, he's paid to swing away, isn't he?
Yeah. And what you hope for if you're the Rockies, obviously a double play, but you get him out. And then maybe bring in Belisle to try to get Kemp, and then the lefty Beimel to get Loney.
Still good velocity. That pitch just missed at 97. It's 1-0 on Ethier. A bloop double to left. He lined into a double play in the 3rd, popped to short in the 5th. Two and out.
On the sky cam, let's take a look at where this came over, because it did miss by a whole lot other than that outside corner. But you know what? When you saw a guy walk him and he was extremely wild with Terrio, they're going to be a little more patient right here and get a pitch he could drive somewhere.
catch.
Looked like it caught Miguel right in the neck area.
Hard sinker. Foul ball. Shoulder shot.
Mark Foley, who's a great catching instructor, he's the Rockies' roving catching instructor and had a good major league career behind the plate. He says, you know, this may sound odd, but a catcher has to like pain.
It's true.
Yeah. Here's the 2-1. And this ball driven to right center field. Fowler cuts it off, and they're going to put a stop sign on the trail man, Terrio. Ethier has tied it up. It is 1-1.
Boy, I wish Joe would have listened to me and let him bunt. Three-hole guy came up. I mean, how many shots? You know, you got a shot at it, and you got a pretty good shot at this pitch. Let's look at it and see where it is. They wanted it down and away from him. He threw it down in where that left-hander just dropped the head of the bat on it. He drove this thing into right center field. Jim Tracy left him out, and as long as he could possibly leave him out there, and this double's going to drive Ubaldo from the game with it tied up 1-1.
Once again, Ubaldo's not going to win his 18th. The only thing he can get today is a loss. Hopefully Matt Belisle can put the inning down. He pitched well. Tax-free, $529 saving plans for future education for your kids, whether they go to a four-year college, a junior college, a trade school. It all works, and it's very easy to get started, and you don't have to have major league money to do it. You can do it with a very small amount of money. Go to collegeinvest.org. Start saving for your kids' futures. Check them out tomorrow. Check them out tonight after the ball game online. Matt Belisle is aboard, 60th appearance. Infield is basically in. Tulowitzki's halfway, and Kemp doesn't get the slider.
And again, you start to look at history on Matt Belisle. You don't pay any attention to it because it's not the same guy that faced Kemp all those other times. Kemp's had success, 4 for 10 with a home run against him. Matt Belisle's having one of the better years of any reliever in baseball, setting up the closers here.
Rockies need a couple of punch outs if possible, and 2/3 of the way there. One baseball game, nobody out in the 8th. At third is Terrio, at second Ethier. Here's the 0-2, and hit hard. Tulowitzki freezes the runner. That's out number 1. That's a good play by Troy.
Well, it goes back to that point too that we always make, where he doesn't play all the way in. He's got a little bit more range by being 2 or 3 steps back on the dirt.
Exactly. I mean, he's able to handle that baseball. I think the Rockies will go ahead and walk Loney. Then they're going to have to go right with Blake and then right also with Jamie Carroll. Run at first doesn't mean anything. It's the run 90 feet away at third base that means everything.
Well, and then you can also move your infield back and play double play depth up the middle.
Blake 1 for 9 against Belial, too. Jamie Carroll, who will be in the on-deck circle, is 1 for 7.
So Blake goes to first. Excuse me, Loney goes to first. Blake coming up. Blake, a ground ball to short, a single, and then another ground ball to short. Ground ball to short would work well here. One for 10 this year with the bases loaded. Blake. A couple of grinders. Casey Blake in the on deck and Jamie Carroll. Tulowitzki and Herrera set for 2 up the middle. Belial, who went back and forth last year between Denver and Colorado Springs. Just a whole different pitcher now. An abundance of confidence. And his numbers support that confidence. 1-1. 2-1. Just missed.
Must have been outside just a little bit because it didn't look like it missed at the knees.
Well, off the plate about 2 or 3 inches on that outside corner.
Fielding's kind of shrunk his zone a little bit now.
Came in at 94. It's fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Blake. Not much success with Matt Belial. Tums night again for the skipper Jim Tracy. As a big league manager, you have a lot of those nights. After a few, you don't feel like your stomach's gurgling.
Tough to enjoy him even when you win. Take those losses and ride with him forever.
2-2.
You don't enjoy the wins long enough. You know, they tell stories about Joe Torre. He'll go out and have a big Italian meal after a ball game, win or lose, and forget about whatever happened, whether it was good or bad, and just go on back to the hotel and go to bed.
I imagine some nights that's easier said than done.
No, I'm sure it is.
The sleep part. Bases full of Dodgers, 1 out in the 8th inning. It's 1-1. Rockies had a 1-0 lead till a couple of moments ago. And now it's a full count. So Belial's got to come in there to Blake. And Blake is one of those guys who is selective. He knows the strike zone.
So now, George, you go by the theory, if you threw a 2-2, is he going to throw a 3-2?
Well, that's what a lot of guys seem to think. But you know what? I think with Matt, his fastball is good enough that he can go either side of it. They set up away. And it went off speed. It appeared to be off speed from up here. Maybe it was a heater. It just didn't look that hard. It was 93, but it didn't look that hard out of the hand, like the other 2 fastballs that he's thrown. Good location, though, down and away, just off the end of the bat of Casey Blake.
Three and 2 again. And this ball's drilled to center field and deep. And got it. Grand slam, Casey Blake. One for 10 coming in with the bases loaded. Now 2 for 11. 5th career slam for Blake. 5-1 LA.
First one for him to have this year. 3rd for the Dodgers this year. The Lyle fastball just carried into left center here, and this game has changed and thrown up an ugly face at the Rockies rather quickly.
Baldo Jimenez, unless the Rockies rally, will be handed his 5th loss despite carrying a 1-0 shutout into the 8th inning. 1-0 on Jamie Carroll.
He really handled that situation so well. Blake in his career 1 for 9 against Milwaukee.
2 outs. Rockies still have 6 outs to work with, and they're coming off a win on Wednesday for the Ages, in which they erased a 9-run deficit. Rod Barajas.
I mean, you're going into the bottom of the 8th inning. You're going to send up, Dexter Fowler, Gonzalez, Tulowitzki. I mean, that's the time you're going to do it.
The irony of this ball game, at least thus far, is for the first time in a while, and one of the few times this year, Ubaldo Jimenez was actually trying to extend a win streak. He got the Rockies to the 8th inning with a 1-0 lead, but the Rockies once again unable. It's like they're in LA all the time when they play the Dodgers. They're unable to score runs against Dodger pitching. Shut out twice in the 3-game set in LA. The one ball game they won, they scored just 3 runs. And tonight limited to 1 so far. In the air to Spielborgs again. And the Rockies will head to the dugout with work to do. Down 5-1. Summary, where you can make the difference or make the world your workplace. Ecotech Institute in Denver The Rockies had a 1-0 lead until the 8th inning, and then things went south. The big blow at Casey Blake grand slams. Now the Rockies' second inning from Jonathan Broxton will have Dexter Fowler attempting a bunt, and he misses. It's 0-1.
Hey, I like that idea, too. Try to lay the bunt down, get the big fella off the mound, test Blake over at third base.
One, 2, 3 inning for Broxton in the 7th. Fowler, Gonzalez, and Tulowitzki. Well, the blueprint's there from Wednesday for Colorado, and the deficit's only 4. Of course, less time to work with. Ahead of the Rockies in the division as Franklin Morales is getting loose. The San Diego Padres, the Rockies are 8-4 against the Padres. Also ahead of them, the San Francisco Giants. The Rockies are 7-5 against the Giants this year.
Well, it's the only team that's had their number.
And Arizona, who trails the Rockies, they're 500, 6-6. The Dodgers, who are a game behind, at least beginning the night, the Rockies 3-6. They have finished above the Dodgers in the division one time in their history. That came in 2007. And it remains 4-0 as they move to the 6th inning in San Francisco. Barry Enright and Tim Lincecum. This ball's hit pretty well to left field. Podsednik will have a play. 1 out. And that'll bring up Cargo. Who wants tacos? If you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 in a ball game, for the Rockies taco special, text the keyword taco to 95323. Gonzalez tonight 0 for 2 and a walk. All of those at bats against Kershaw. A couple of strikeouts against Kershaw. Gonzalez began the day at 320, third in the NL batting race. Joey Votto was at 326. Albert Pujols at the beginning of the day, 321. Pujols hit his 35th home run. And the Cardinals 4-2 win, 34th home run. The Cardinals.
Wasn't that his 400th career home run also?
No, yesterday he hit his 400th.
Yeah,
he's at 401.
Right. Yep. I'm sure that he and A-Rod will probably be the two guys that will have a shot if they want to keep playing long enough to get Perry. Can't think of anybody else.
1 ball, 1 strike.
What's A-Rod now? 606?
He's over 600.
Pujols was fortunate he wasn't injured in that game last night running into the tarp.
Didn't he jump up on top of it, or did he run under it?
No, I kind of slipped and missed it.
Well, Holiday left the game. He got hit in the hand last night.
Well, he's okay because he hit a home run tonight as well.
What's that, his 23rd? For Holiday, I believe.
Yep, 35th for Pujols, 23rd for Holiday. Cardinals over Washington 4-2. 1-2 on Gonzalez. Brodson's velocity much better. I said that last inning. Much better tonight than it was in L.A.
97, 98. By the way, A-Rod 604.
He's not going to hit any for a few days, though.
Nope.
On the disabled list with a calf injury. Philadelphia and San Diego in the 7th inning at Petco tied at 1. And a line drive to right. It's going to go to the wall. Into second with a double is Gonzalez. How loud was that as it whizzed by you, Jeff Houston?
You know, it's like a rocket. You hear it, but it's already out into the outfield. That's how hard he hit it.
Well, you know, I think he hit it hard enough that James Loney was standing at first thinking, okay, when's the next pitch? What? Where'd that one go? Didn't see that one. Scalded.
He didn't even move.
He didn't have time.
If he would have moved, it'd have been to duck. Because he didn't see it, so I hope it just doesn't hit me.
If the wall wasn't there, that thing would have rolled to Commerce City. 1 out, Tulowitzki at the plate. Troy is single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Chico, who's the new closer for the Dodgers, up here in the 8th inning.
Really not surprising, since all your power for the Rockies is from the left side, Giambi, Stewart, and Smith.
It would be, for me, surprising, particularly in a 4-run game, if Joe Torre went to Quo in the 8th inning, though, because with Quo's injuries in the past, he's shown he's really a 1-inning guy.
I understand that, but some of the things Joe Torre's done with that pen is a little unconventional.
Well, he has gone an awful lot to Broxton in the 8th inning, and if it comes up that tying run sitting at home plate and it's Jason Giambi, I can tell you now, that left-hander more than likely is going to be in the ball game. If you don't get him out in the 8th, you don't have a chance to save it in the 9th.
Last time he tried that, I think, was Atlanta about 7 or 8 days ago.
Didn't work out so well, did it?
No, it didn't.
I would be very surprised if Giambi's at the plate and he doesn't have Quo facing.
2-2. Up in the infield. Terrio moving back. 2 outs.
Hey, let's not forget about the ball game that's been rescheduled with the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll broadcast it right here on FSN on that Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock. The ball game's tickets, though, for the May 11th ball game, guess what? They're good for the game on September 2nd. So if you hung on to those tickets, they're still good to get you right back into the yard for the game here on the 2nd. We got a split squad broadcast that day.
we do have a split squad that day, don't we?
Huey's back home, so he's going to take my spot.
Right.
The director and producer staying out on the West Coast. Tavis Strand will take over as the producer. Jim Armentrout, the director.
Melvin Moore with 2 outs. Gonzalez doubled. He's at second. 5-1 LA. Another foul ball. 2-strike count. Rockies came in 24-21 against the National League West this year. Bat foul ball.
Yeah, last time Broxton went 2 innings was on the 24th of July against the New York Mets. Finish this thing off with Melvin. Somebody ought to get that chunk of wood out there in the grass. Here, call time, run out there and get it. It's about 3 feet right there. Oh, you got it. Yeah, he picked it up. Good deal.
Rod's got it.
Two-strike count on Mora. Rockies have been held to 6 hits in this ball game. Their only run, a Todd Helton home run way back in the second. They had a 2-out triple in the 5th from Fowler. Gonzalez struck out behind him. Their only other scoring threat was after the 2-out home run by Helton. Spilborgh's doubled. Oliva was intentionally walked, but Jimenez was up. And I don't know how much of a scoring threat that is. And this is going to drop. Gonzalez is going to score, and it's 5-2. So Melvin Mora coming through his 26th RBI. And now Helton to the plate.
And Joe Torre out of the dugout.
Going to ask Quo to get 4 outs. When we come back, Todd Helton to face Hung-Chi Quo. 5-2 LA. To you from Security Service Field in Colorado Springs, where the Sky Sox are wrapping up the 2010 season. And we'll talk to some of the players who could be getting a September call-up to the show. And we'll also look back at all the best for the month of August. That's Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy, Sunday after the game on FSN. And, of course, every week you have a conversation with the Rockies manager. So Hung-Chi Quo is aboard. Melvin Mora just singled in Carlos Gonzalez. Quo will face Todd Helton.
Well, that big number that jumps out. Left-handers hitting .098, and they've yet to hit the ball out of the ballpark. So, well, guess what? About time to do it. In 43 ball games, in 46 innings, he struck out 55. This guy can be automatic as far as that strike zone's concerned. He doesn't walk anybody. He's going to challenge Todd Helton, who's 1 for 6 in his career against Quo. Amazingly, it's because the history is very good. 3 for 6, Spilborgh's in his career against Quo, but you got to get to him.
Spilly's on deck. And zipped in there at 94, 1-1. Helton 1 for 3, that home run back in the second inning.
And you hope facing a guy like Venters the other day in the series against Atlanta gives you a little bit of confidence going out and facing Quo.
Yeah, not much difference between the two. In fact, Venters throws a little bit harder than Quo. 2-1. Catches the corner, 2-2. Ten previous appearances at Coors Field. Rockies have gotten after him. Strike 3. In the inning, the Rockies got a double from Gonzalez and a single from Mora to narrow the gap to 5-2 as we go to the ninth. Unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-XFINITY. By Dex One Marketing Solutions business results. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the Great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. Back at Coors Field, ninth inning, the Rockies on the wrong end of a 5-2 count against their nemesis, the LA Dodgers. The postgame report will follow. And for the details, Alana Rizzo is out in center field. Hey, Alana.
Hey, guys. Thanks very much. Coming up in the Rockies post-game report, we're going to talk about Blake Street bomb. Casey Blake with that huge home run. Is it going to be the dagger for the Rockies in this game? Let's hope not. Then stuck on 17. Waldo Jimenez going for number 18, a franchise record for the fourth time. He's not going to be able to get it. And then we're going to go into the clubhouse. Mark Stout will have everything for you there, guys.
All right, Alana, thank you. Hung-Chi Kuo will lead off against Franklin Morales here in the ninth inning. Casey Blake, right now the hero for the Dodgers, a grand slam against Matt Belisle.
Let's look at the numbers on Franklin Morales. He's 0-3. He does have 3 saves, an earned run average 6.75. I never look at an earned run average of a guy coming out of the bullpen that does not have a lot of innings, and he didn't have a lot of innings. And Jim Tracy said it before the ball game. The key, throw strikes. That's the only key Franklin Morales has to worry about, is throwing strikes. Got a good way to start off his debut here, coming back after being down at AAA for a while, and he's got a pitcher that doesn't like to hit and never does hit.
Can he possibly be any further away from the plate and still be in the box?
Well, he's not all the way to the backside of it, Jeff, but he is close, buddy. He is really close.
I'm predicting he won't swing.
Why would you? Morales 3-0. It's going to hurt. 3-0, 267 earned run average in 24 ball games down there. He walked 19 and 30 and a third, struck out 34. He only gave up 20 hits. Just hope you catch him on the night. He's pounding the strike zone. Right now he's behind 2-1.
Two and one on Quo. And 3-1. And this is why Franklin, honestly, has been in Colorado Springs. And you got a pitcher up there who never hits. Not occasionally, he never hits. Throw 3 right down the middle and move on to Posednik. Easier said than done, evidently.
Okay, Quo, let me help you out here, right? When that leg lifts up, start swinging.
This is Quo's first at bat, fellas, since 2008.
So whose helmet is he wearing? Pick your leg up right about now.
First at bat in 2 years.
Swing it.
And that just did get the strike zone. Fortunately, Morales does strike out Quo. 1 out as Posednik comes up. Posednik started the rally last inning with a single against Jimenez, and then he stole second. Terrio walked, and then Ethier on a 2-1 pitch doubled to right center field. That was all for Jimenez. Samuel Deduno warming up. Jimmy Wright looking on.
And he traveled with the Rockies a year ago for the month of September to kind of be around the big leagues. He was pitcher of the year in the Texas League a year ago. He's had Tommy John. And came back from that and won Texas League pitcher of the year. Then this year, at the start of the year in AAA, had a elbow stress fracture and was shut down for a while. And then went down to Tri-Cities on his comeback trail. He's pitched well at Colorado Springs.
Easy play for Johnny Herrera. 2 outs. In the 9th inning against Quo, the Rockies will have Spilborghs, Olivo, and then the pitcher spot. As George pointed out last inning, when the Rockies face a left-handed starter, they unload their bench with all right-handed bats, naturally, for the most part. So the only true right-handed bat on the bench is Iannetta. Everybody else is left-handed. Giambi, Smith, and Stewart. It's one of the things you run into when you have a left-handed closer. There's not a ton of them in baseball. Last series, Billy Wagner for the Braves never got in as a left-handed closer. Ryan Fuentes, who was just traded today from the Angels, where he was closing games, from a Rockies closer, obviously left-handed as well. (2-0) Ontario, 3-0 Ontario. Not close. Ball 4. That'll bring up Ethier. Dodgers, a little more than a week ago, looked like they were going to try to unload salary. Still talk they may do that with Manny Ramirez, but if they hang on tonight, they'll have tied the Rockies in the wild card chase.
Well, it's just kind of like a year ago. All of a sudden, they crept back into it. They got hot, and they won some ball games. Everything has to get decided now. Do you let Manny go? What do you do?
Yeah, you're right, Jeff. It was a balk.
Why was it about, Jeff, from the angle you were at?
Because he had really stepped towards home. Gary Cederstrom out at second base. He's the one that actually called it first.
And how would he see if he went to home?
Just the way his body was leaning, where he went.
Well, I think by that deal of going to home plate, that'd be read pretty easy at first base, more so than that way.
That's why I was a little surprised Marty Foster, the first base umpire, didn't call it first.
Here's Ethier. Terrio's been on base 4 times tonight. Couple singles, couple of walks. Two outs, 1-1 count on Ethier. We talk about it being an uneasy at bat when you have a guy that's wild. It's also very hard on a catcher. You set up in one location, but you don't feel real confident the ball may end up in that location.
Makes it hard, makes it very difficult, particularly getting movement on it whatsoever.
The other thing, too, is the fielders, as an infielder, you can't read if you think it's going to be a fastball away and you're kind of leaning a certain way, and then the ball's inside, it's tough to get a jump on the ball.
It affects everybody.
Yep.
2-2. See if Morales can make a pitch here to take care of Ethier. Missed with the slider. It's 3-2.
Look at the Sky Camp. See a slider break off of the plate. Southwest Sky Camp.
He didn't go, and that's ball 4. That will allow Kemp to hit. Jim Tracy looking at that scorecard as if he's pondering a move, and he is. He's going to go bring in Duno to face Kemp right on right. Trying to give the Rockies a shot in the 9th inning and keep it a 3-run game. So Samuel Duno will make his big league debut when we come back. With 2 on to face Matt Kemp, a very talented center fielder for Los Angeles. Coming up, Samuel Deduno making his big league debut. We saw Deduno, George, pitch quite a bit during the spring. He's got great stuff.
Great stuff. Got a very good wipeout type of breaking ball. I mean, he can throw it to right-handers and really devastate you with it. Mentioned a couple of minutes ago on the telecast that he was the Texas League Pitcher of the Year. Good fastball. AAA with the Sky Sox this year, covering 6 starts, 3-1, 293. Mentioned that he had stress fracture in his elbow. Had to take some time off, get it healed, get back on the mound, and here he is. Scratched from his start last night in Colorado Springs.
Slider for a strike.
Yeah, they kind of hurt him a little bit in spring training. A little bit that hurt him in spring training was fastball command.
His fastball just moves a ton. As we've caught him, we'll tell you that. 27-year-old right-hander. Just turned 27 a month ago. From La Romana in the Dominican Republic. And that badly fooled Kent.
I think it fooled the home plate umpire, too. It was inside. But he locked it. He locked some people up with this thing. I mean, that's that hard spinner. And Kemp's like, you ain't getting me in the backside. And then becomes pretty close to being a strike. Wow. If that fooled him that bad, I'll even look at it again.
The inside corner at 92. 1-2. Well, he may see it again right now.
You know what? Kim's smart enough. He's probably thinking the same thing.
He's pitched him in, though, so if he can get that
away
with the slider, that's a weakness for Matt Kemp. A lot of righties. This ball driven to left center field. It's going to score another run.
Curveball is what the pitch came with. After looking at a couple of fastballs, and now all of a sudden he gets the hook from him. Not the way you want things to start out when you make your major league debut. That's the hook right there in the bottom half of the strike zone. Kemp, pretty good low ball hitter, just shot it out over Tulowitzki. Brought the run home in Terrio, and Ethier moved over to third.
6-2 the lead for LA. James Loney at the plate, first and third. That run charged to Morales.
All this happening with a 2-out walk. What about that? 2 outs in the inning. Start the inning off with a strikeout and hit a ground ball. Then you end up walking Terrio. You walk Ethier.
You walk Terrio on 4 pitches.
Come out of the ball game. Unfortunately, base hit.
Ground ball to second. Now the Rockies with work to do as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Dodgers leading 6-2. game has changed dramatically since then. Ryan Spilborghs will try to get a rally started against Hung Chi Kuo, who got the final out in the 8th inning.
Got a strikeout. Todd Helton on a fastball away from him. Big hurdle to jump, but they've jumped bigger. We've seen it.
Yeah, 48 hours ago. Spilborghs, the fine numbers against Hung Chi Kuo, 3 for 5. Boy, the pitcher's responsibility, isn't it, George? Check and make sure his fielders are ready before the pitch.
Well, you know what? Maybe in high school and college and that, but at the big leagues, when they hand the ball to that pitcher and he throws it and they throw it down, you better get ready.
Jeff, did you see what I saw? Matt Kemp kind of like backpedaling really quickly to get in position as the ball was traveling to the plate.
Who was it for the Cardinals the other day that yelled at Brendan Ryan for...
Not Carpenter.
Carpenter, that's
Chris
right.
Carpenter. Yeah, you want to know the truth to be story? He yelled at him over his glove, having to switch gloves out, but he was actually on the base paths, and the guy brought out the wrong glove to him from the dugout.
Little known fact.
Yep, Carpenter should have checked that out a little bit, too.
2-1.
That Carpenter-Wainwright thing hadn't been a very good combination of late.
Well, Jaime Garcia was on the bump today. He evidently pitched well. 3-1. Center field and deep, but credible. 1 out. Bring up Miguel Oliva. Chris Ionetta has come out on deck.
Three and one on Spilborghs, 2-0 on Olivo. That's not quite the way you want your closer to work a game. They got a 4-run lead.
Sometimes when he's got to work, sit down, and come back out, that's been the situation with Kuo. He's 3-0 on Olivo. The only safety net for Kuo would be Dotel. He's not even up yet. The Rockies saw him get real wild in L.A.
The 3 wild pitches.
Yeah, that's how the Rockies exactly won that ball game 3-2 in Los Angeles. Here's Dotel.
Jeff Weaver right next to him.
Weaver taking the 3-1 pitch, 3-2 now.
Who's the guy who pitched for Weaver? Always walked that 3-2 counts all the time. Called him 3-pack. Stanhouse, yeah.
Don
Stanhouse. Well, he did call down and said get Stanhouse up. He called down and said get 3-pack up. Well, they get smoke 3-pack cigarettes. Just get through the ninth inning.
He made the catch. That's an out. We can't see it from our angle, but Andre Ethier in that corner made the catch.
A nice catch, too. Fans to deal with. You got the wall to deal with.
So Iannetta with 2 outs and nobody on. He'll pinch hit in the pitcher spot. One strike to count on Iannetta. One and two. Tomorrow's pitching matchup, Yoli Chassin, coming off a great performance, will take on Chad Billingsley, who's 10-7. Sunday's ball game, Jason Hamill and Ted Lilly. Rockies owe Lilly a little payback.
Yeah, don't they ever. Billingsley's been pretty consistent all year. 5-4 at home, 5-3 out on the road. Right-handers a little bit better than lefties.
He's been pitching better of late.
Two of their number 1 picks are number 1 and number 2 in their rotation. Kershaw and Billingsley.
And Iannetta swings through that. A disappointing night for the Rockies. They had a 1-0 lead in the 8th inning, and they could not hold it. They lose 6-2. Broxton gets the win, and Jimenez, for the 4th straight ball game, pitches very effectively, but comes away with a loss. Todd Helton not ready to head up to the clubhouse just yet. Jimenez falls to tonight's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's. Casey Blake with the bases loaded against Matt Belisle on a 3-2 pitch. Hit it out almost to dead center field. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. So now it's the Dodgers who caught the Rockies. They've won 4 straight in this wild card chase. The postgame report is up next.